What is up, everybody? WTF? Welcome to Funkatopia. I am your host, Mr. Christopher. This is Jeff Page.
What's happening, everybody? How's everybody doing? I hope you guys had an awesome week this week.
Oh, man, I tell you what, this is a crazy, crazy week. Last week, as I tell you, this is the pre-show. For those who have never watched the show before, this is the pre-show. We kind of come in about 10 to 15 minutes earlier just to kind of say hello to everybody, let everybody come in, get settled, get your drinks, whatever, your popcorn, whatever it is that you got to have, get it all taken care of and get situated and get ready. So when we hit the 8 o'clock hour, pow, we're right on.
Exactly.
Look at you with your,
what a better way to hit it off by saying, we are so excited and happy for tonight's show. This is going to be a blast, and we're glad you guys made it. So we're going to start the hellos, and thank you already for telling us where you are, checking in from what we got. Greg Brown in Milwaukee. Wait, let me go to the top. Who we got here? We got everybody, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This one that I saw up here that was it was Anna B.
Anna B. Like,
let's start this party in Dan Selector. It said 9:35 p.m. Was that last night? Certainly
it had to be because Anna B's message. Yeah, it was here before it's been here for a long time. So
for a minute.
Wow, she's seen the future, and it will be.
That's right. Many Moons is also here. A little bit of a funky peace sign there going as well. Carrie from Carlsbad.
I like it. Milwaukee, Greg Brown, Milwaukee. I didn't say it, but what's up, Lyle? Another one. Here's another one.
Another one.
Another.
Yeah. So, I mean, Susan from Iowa. I don't think you already said that. Sue from Southern California. Lisa, what's going on? Krista, what's going on? Yes. Ernest is in the house as well. Mark from Clearwater. Sister Child from Houston.
Yes.
Yeah, Prince State.
I'm liking it. Lyle, you decided to use. Okay. I won't even. Yeah. Hey, it's better than it said. What was it before that? It would say Facebook user when it would log someone out.
Joshua.
Yeah. So hey, I like it. Maryland, hello. What's up? Canada.
Get your questions ready once Andre comes in the mix. You get your questions ready because we will get to that point. Obviously, as you know, we already have our laundry list of questions that we're going to be handling. But we accept questions from all over Detroit.
And remember, we do our best. Sometimes the questions you ask, we already have lined up. We're not ignoring you, and sometimes they're. You guys know sometimes they're not quite the right question to ask at a certain time. So this is live. You know how it is. Live is live, and it's work. So we do what we can, and hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we'll continue to do it.
Oh, look, the Blessing is from New Jersey. I didn't know you were in New Jersey. Blessing, where in New Jersey are you from? That's my stomping grounds now. Here we go.
Wow. New Jersey.
Angela's from Minneapolis. So a lot of people, before we get into this, and I'll await your answer, Blessing, because I always await with bated breath whenever I talk about my home state of Jersey. So this is the last show that we will be doing until, oh my God, Edison, nice, Blessing, Edison.
Yeah.
This will be the last show that we are doing until the 24th of September.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are ready for that, but there is going to be 2 weeks, 2 Tuesdays that are going to pass that we will not be here. And I want to apologize for it, but I'm not going to apologize for it.
No, I'm not going to apologize. You know what? We had Labor Day weekend. This is our Labor month. I don't know. I don't know what to call it.
Well, I know a lot of TV shows and stuff and podcasts and stuff take their breaks, and some of them just do it just because, of situational things. But
we're transitioning.
Yes, the
New
reason.
Season.
No, I'm not. We're not transitioning.
New season.
Yeah, it'll be a new season 100, whatever this is. For those that don't know, September 11th, 9/11 is a very strange day for me. Just so we're clear.
For you.
My wife and I got married on September 11th, 1999. So this upcoming November 11th, it is our 25th anniversary, which is insane. So we are literally leaving.
I just had to. I had to. You deserve that.
I know. We are actually going out of town for 2 weeks. We'll be on a boat in the Caribbean doing Jamaica, but don't worry, you can come to my house if you want because there's still people here with guns, by the way.
It's all right. We show up with them.
Yes, that's right. You gotta show up with them if you're gonna go. But we're going to Jamaica, Mexico. We're it's just a 2-week break. And also, I have to also say this too, my middle daughter, because here's another interesting story. Obviously, 2 years after we were married, that's when the attacks on New York City happened. And then the very next year in 2002, my wife went into labor with middle daughter Jolie. And she was born on 9/11, so it's her birthday also. So that's the reason why I say 9/11 is this really weird, really weird time. Yeah, it's our anniversary and my daughter's birthday, and of course, we're all supposed to kind of retrospect on the day. And
so regardless, you will never forget.
Right. Literally, all these people that have these stickers on the car still that say "never forget." It's just like, oh yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah, you can't. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's just it's a little bit of a 2-week. Yeah, it's going to be great. You're going to go to Jamaica. Actually, I'm doing a Bob Marley excursion when I go to Jamaica, so I'm going to go to Bob Marley's house.
I'm
gonna fire one up.
That's not. I think that'll be an interesting show one day if we do a show where people will call in and maybe talk about a celebration that used to be a celebration that became something else. Like society wise. Because we all have something that was like, ooh, and now it's like, I can't celebrate that openly the same way every time. I mean, there's probably a lot of those.
I think it happens when you like break up with somebody that used to listen to like hardcore to a specific band, and then you break up with that person, and you can no longer listen to that band.
Yeah, things like that. They just completely change how you appreciate something. It's like, dag, ruined everything.
So I was hoping, so tonight we were going to do a free-for-all soundstage, but Andre and I had been talking back and forth and locked it in, said he wanted to come on the show for tonight. So I was like, that's perfect because that'll be a great show. So tonight, I'm not going to make the official announcement, but tonight we're going to be doing an interview with Andre Cymone. And then we're also, I'm doubling down because I hate the fact that it's going to be 3 more weeks before we do another show, but I'm doubling down, and we're also going to do a Soundstage live right here tonight. Wow. So not only will you get the amazingness of the presence of Andre Cymone, but you're also going to get a soundstage where we're going to, for those who don't know what a soundstage is, we are going to be talking about new music, new funk music specifically that is out there, and kind of hip you to some new bands and whatnot. None of these bands are new. Well, I think there's maybe one or two that you don't know. Right. There's a lot of bands that have dropped albums unannounced for whatever reason. I'm not unannounced, but it's just totally under the radar, and you just don't, because the fact that funk music is not properly represented online.
It really isn't.
It's anywhere really,
and not just on. Yeah, exactly. Not just online, anywhere. It's just not represented very well.
It should have its own category in the Grammys, but it doesn't. It's ridiculous. So very. Anyways, that's what we're here to fix. I mean, we're Funkatopia, so we're gonna do it. So. Anyways, so that's the plan tonight. Andre Cymone and a soundstage, so we're doubling up, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and looking forward to it. And I hope you guys will enjoy it because it's double the fun tonight.
2 shows in one.
I know it's 2 shows in one, man. It's 2 shows in one. So let's go ahead and get a moment of silence just for a second, and then we're going to go right into it. All right. Actually, I'm not going to pull ourselves down. This is just going to be an audio. An opportunity for me to be able to edit the pre-show out before I upload this thing. Okay, one second. All right, tonight we have an amazing artist who pretty much helped establish the Minneapolis sound. Y'all all know Prince, and y'all all know Morris Day, and you guys, there's like a laundry list of names that you know, and this is one name that you obviously definitely should know, and he's a good friend of the show. He's been on the show before, but it's been years since he's been on the show. This is actually the first opportunity we had an opportunity to get to interview him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the one, the only Andre Cymone.
Well, hello there.
Hello. Welcome.
What it is.
What's a happening?
Funk is happening. That's what's happening. It's funk. Funk is alive.
We were just talking about this, that I don't understand why the Grammy Awards don't have like a funk section. They started out, back in the 80s, it was an urban section. And then they kind of, in the 90s, they kind of moved to R&B, and now it's just kind of all over the place. And
all pop-ish.
Why funk dropped off.
They need to catch up. But I would say this. We need more funk. That's part of it. And here's the thing, funk, it's not like it's easy. You got to really know what you're doing. Part of the thing is that we need more education in schools, music education, because that fell off quite a bit. If it wasn't for that, me, Prince, Morris, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis, there's a lot of musicians y'all probably aren't familiar with that we grew up listening to, but it was a big deal back then. That's what kind of really laid the groundwork for a lot of some of the things we were doing back then.
Right. And one of the things I want to mention, that aesthetically, you're wearing a Vote shirt. So I have a question for you, because I know that Prince did not vote. Did you two ever talk about that at all? I know I'm going totally off topic here, but I am curious if that discussion ever came up.
Well, the first time we voted together. My mom made us go vote together.
Oh, so before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing. Music and the music business can be filled with politics, and you have to decide what you're going to stand up for. And and I can understand how some people, are like, what, I don't want to play that game. I don't want to get into that game. But my family and my mother and my father and everybody else, pretty much my family, are very, very politically involved and always have been. So I just, was the youngest. They indoctrinated me, and so and it wasn't hard once you start to understand, the power of your actual vote, and that people died for you to be able to have that privilege. And then it goes on and on when you start to think about, if people hadn't done the work that they did, there would be no me, this wouldn't even be happening right now. So people really need to put it in context and in perspective, because, it all begins and ends with a lot of these political choices. And so I'm really, really a strong advocate about voting and getting involved and being a voice, to change. Because even in the music business, even I don't want to, change. I don't want to get into but just it's important. Yeah, let's just say that. So
it's a super touchy subject, and trust me, I can already see the chat room getting fired up.
Well, let's get fired up here. Let's see. I got some kerosene.
Right? Burn, baby, burn.
Burn, baby, burn. It's gonna burn out. Yeah. Anyway.
But the good thing
fun around here. Go ahead.
A lot of their fired up is compliments for you, man. People are, they're saying you getting younger. Like, you just keep going, man. It's all love right now.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Hey, listen, maybe I shouldn't. I have a secret, but I don't know if I should tell it. We try to keep these secrets underneath our, armpits. But I've got ways to keep. Got to stay. Here's the thing. Key for me is, don't stop doing the things you used to do when you felt, vibrant and young. You don't ever have to stop that stuff. Just because people say, "Oh, he's trying to be young. Look at those clothes he's wearing. He's trying to be like the kids." Man, forget all of that. Be you. like my sister would say, you do you. And so, yeah.
Well, I love the fact that, you know, you have such an iconic history in Minnesota, and especially with your family and everything. And I want to talk about that out of the gate, about
Okay.
your specifically about your mother,
Mm.
because this amazing street renaming is going to be happening. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I want to ask a little bit about, because this is something that I've always wanted to ask. Everybody always talks about, oh, well, Prince came over to Andre's house and lived with him for a while, and Andre's mother took him in, and da 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 da. We've heard all those stories quite a bit, and that's great. I'm always curious, though, the reverse of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many times did you actually go over to Prince's house? What was the vibe there? What was the, I mean, what did that side look like? As far, because I know that my best friend in the world is Rob, and I stayed with him for a long time, and his mother and stuff, but we were over each other's houses. So there's like a dynamic there that I don't think has ever really kind of been discussed.
Yeah, well, his mom didn't like me. Most people's parents didn't like me much. I was a little, when I moved into that neighborhood, I was pretty rough around the edges. I came from the projects. So, and with me came a reputation. And so, yeah. And, those guys were kind of, I think they were being bused to, private schools or whatever, but me, that wasn't my reality. So I think I'd been over his house maybe once or twice. His dad's house I went over quite a bit, but that was later.
Yeah,
because he lived with his mom. A lot of people, are under all kinds of really misconceptions about his reality, and I get it, because it's I suppose it's lucrative for some people to just rewrite history, especially his history, because obviously he's not here now. So people can just say whatever they want. That's what people have been doing, which is unfortunate, because, the brother deserves, a really sort of realistic viewpoint, but not very many people really actually have it, so they're just saying whatever they got to say, to either get paid or whatever. I mean, I don't know, but, it's unfortunate.
What do you think the biggest misconception is that you consistently hear, and you're like, no, that's not what it was at all?
I think some of him and his dad's thing, is part of it, because his dad was really cool. He was like a mentor to me, and we were really close. And, obviously you've heard the story that my father and his father, which we didn't know when we first met, played in a band together, and they were friends. And we had no idea. We didn't find out until I discovered a picture that happened to be on his dad's piano when I was coming over to jam. And I was like, that guy looks familiar. And it turns out, when his dad wanted to kick me out of the apartment, he, just as he was about to kick me out, told me, get your project, man. He said, wait a second, what's your name? And I told him what my name is, and I pointed at the picture. He freaked out. He's like, you're Fred Henderson's son? Oh my God. And, he went from wanting me out of there to, basically giving me a key to the apartment. And we were like friends. And, I was closer to his dad in some ways than I was to my father in many ways, because his dad was always giving me really amazing advice. And then when he and Prince had their fallouts, which, most fathers and sons, I fell out with my dad plenty of times. But, I was always kind of the conduit and was really close to his dad.
Wow. That's awesome to hear, man. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I was
okay. Sorry, say something. Because there is something really, really cool that has happened, and I definitely want to talk about this and kind of tell me a little bit about the background story of what spearheaded this. But coming up on the 13th, this Friday, but I'm sorry,
Yes.
not next Friday, by the way, on September 13th, they are going to be renaming the road Bernadette Anderson Way, and that is incredible. And I see that you're going to be doing a performance there as well. So let's start where, how did this all start get rolling? Actually, wait a second. Let me actually do this. I want to play this first, and then we'll talk about it. Give me just a second. Let's play that.
Miss Bernadette Anderson, also known as Queen Bernie, was a lifelong resident of Minneapolis. Not only was Miss Bernadette a mother to 6 children of her own, she was also a mother to the entire North Minneapolis community. She was known for her tough love approach. She nurtured countless numbers of young people and helped them to stay on track so they could reach their full potential. She loved children, and the door to her house was always open to all the young people who needed some love. One of the young people she helped raise was Prince. She took him in when he needed her. She was a force to be reckoned with and regularly did battle with elected officials. She fought tirelessly for the rights of Black people. Thank you to Queen Bernie's family for letting me help you honor her. This is long overdue. I was so happy when you reached out to me. I thought it had already happened, but I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this. I hear there's going to be a really big party. She also knew how to celebrate. So there's going to be a really big party in her honor and in honor of the commemorative street renaming. So again, I want to thank you to Miss Bernie's family, and This is the good work that we get to do as a Minneapolis City Council. So thank you. The North Side is forever grateful for her work. I always hear people talk about her.
Oh, I don't know why I cut off. That was the video that was posted. Right?
Cool. Yeah, no, that's she. I mean, she was such a powerhouse helping us get this together. But really, it was a family effort. You know, my nieces, my sisters, my nephews. You know, I have a pretty large family, and everybody's really passionate. They all knew my mother really well. She, basically was, grandmother, but mother to all of them in one way or the other. And so, obviously everybody, when we started putting it together, I think one of my nieces in particular said, "Hey, we should do this." And then, everybody got involved. My sisters are everybody in my family is really strong, and they're very strong-willed. And once they get something in their crosshairs, they go for it, and it's a beautiful thing. And so so we just all came together and had family meetings, wonderful, beautiful, loving family meetings where flowers and anyway, but yeah, so that's pretty much how it started. Yeah,
that's awesome. So I see that you're making an appearance here as well. So what exactly is the plan for your involvement in this at this event?
Well, my wife suggested we have a jam session, and I thought that's actually a great idea because she's heard countless stories through me one way or the other. But one of the things that my mother used to do was she was always telling us what music to play or sometimes suggesting with like a strong, powerful, so we're going to jam. I'm just going to have one of those old school, old-fashioned jam sessions that we used to kind of do back in the day, and so I went back and I got some of the actual people that were in some of the rival bands that, where we were, looked up to and, rivaled against. I got one of the original members. I think he was one of the founders of Flight Time, David Batman Island. He's going to play, he's coming, he's playing sax and anything else he wants to play. Sonny Thompson, who's from Back to Black, aka The Family, him and his drummer Joe, which is like, they were, we looked up to them. And then my cousin Tedros Saluki is, he was my mentor when it comes to drums. A lot of people don't know I played drums, and and his drums were the drums that were at my house. Have always been at my house. It seems like forever. When I was a kid, there was always a drum set there, and it was his drum set. He'd always leave us a drum set there, so that because I played, my sister played, one of my cousins played, so we always had a kit there. But let's see who else. Daryl Boudreau is going to be there. Matt Fink is going to be there.
Wow.
Homer Odell from Mint Condition is going to be playing guitar.
Come on now.
Winslow Ashby, Pat Lacey from Sounds of Blackness, Sue-Ann Carwell is going to be singing. Peppy Willie's going to come, and 94 East are going to come and sing a few things.
Happening here.
Yeah, I'm just Yeah, we're just gonna have fun, and it's not. I told everybody, just whatever, learn the songs, the records, and then we just jam on it. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be anything too too stringent. Just loose, fun, because that's how I used to be back in the day. And I'm also I think I mentioned it, but Morris Hayes from the MPG.
Yeah.
And I think because they're going to be coming, I think they're just coming off a gig or something. So, and this, may have a couple other people, come up and play a cowbell or tambourine or whatever. It's just a party, and so it's going to be fun. I mean, some of my mom's, the songs that she used to like, were really funky and fun. And, was it like, I don't want to give too much away, but she loved blues. So obviously we're going to do a little blues. She loved funk. So, so we got to include some funk and some of the things she used to try to tell us to play. And we're just going to have fun, and then, yeah, it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it.
Now, are you going to play any of your, we're going to talk about the new album here, not right now. We're going to talk about the new album. Any new songs that may get unveiled at this event?
No, it's not about me. It's about my mom, really. It's not, I'm focused really on just trying to pay respect and homage to her, because she did the work. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for her, literally, a lot of people here, Prince came to live with him. They make it sound like, he lived with us for years, so it wasn't just he came and visited and, and so, yeah, he came to literally live with us and moved in. And he was living with us when he got his record deal. I mean, so up until eighth grade, I suppose. So pretty long time, and, that's all really, for the most part, because of my mother, because she was, she opened the door to all of us and let us, just express ourselves. She wasn't stressing us. She let us kind of do our thing, and a lot of parents, put all these restrictions and all that. But, she's like, hey, there, she realized it was keeping me, off the streets for the most part, because I mean, I had two other brothers and, they had a rough go of it, and so, I think she was, whatever she could do, when she found that I found something that I really loved, she just, she tried to support it as best she could, especially, wasn't like we had a whole lot of money, but, she did the best she could. It was beautiful.
It's the perfect outlet.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look back and you see pictures like this.
Woo! What a motley crew.
Let's go left to right here and tell just kind of for people that don't know all the cast of players. There's a couple obvious ones in here, but let's go left to right and just kind of just talk about this setup just for a minute.
My left or your left? But can I say one thing? And I probably shouldn't say this, and I'm probably going to be, but I have to, because this is, whenever I see this picture, because that's my picture, just so you know, I have the original, and other people are claiming it, but I have the original, and there's a few other pictures that go with it. But the funniest thing about this picture, I'm going to tell a little story that I've never told anybody before, and it's Prince. we were taking this photo, and he said, yeah, we're LaVon Morris's mom was our manager. It's like, we need a photo of the band. We don't have a picture of the band because we got to be professional now. So we got a manager. So, so Prince said, oh yeah, we're taking a picture. You know what we should do? I got a great idea. Let's everybody get a haircut. Yeah. So everybody got a haircut except him. Okay. So, when I got there, needless to say, I was pissed the F off. It's like, oh, tricky. Okay. Anyway, so left to right. My left to your.
I guess the left side of the photo. I mean,
Linda is my sister.
All right.
And she played keys. And then there's me with that goofy shirt, tucked in, which, I mean, I would never tuck my shirt in, but for some reason I thought I was being professional. So that's me. And I had my little winter coat on. That's Morris. Morris. Yes, but that was way before all that. Morris, unbelievable drummer, which is like, just I can't even say enough. I mean, just the idea that he doesn't play drums on a regular basis on stages all around the world is just doesn't make sense to me. But hey, that's that. Terry Jackson, Prince, and William Dowdy.
Now, I see that Terry did not get his hair cut, or if he did, he covered it up with his hat.
Yeah, yes, it looks like he did that. Yeah. Terry would tend to, do things that, didn't go with what the band all wanted to try to do. We usually had, themes sometimes, especially when we did gigs, and he would buck the theme, which ultimately wound up being a problem.
And I see Arlene says Morris's shoes.
Yeah. You can see. Well, actually, if you look along the line, except for William, everybody's got on platforms. I mean, platforms
across the board.
Yeah, that was the thing. So, but Morris is his are kind of stilts. He could, No,
I'm surprised Prince didn't say everybody wears sandals, and then he came in.
I wouldn't have. He knows he wouldn't have got me to wear sandals. There's no way. But to cut the hair thing, because there's a picture, and I got to find it because my girlfriend at the time, she told me, no, don't cut your hair. Don't cut your hair. She knew, everybody that knew Prince at the time knew Prince was a consummate prankster. So she was like, she said, he's pulling a trick. And I was like, no. We're just trying to look professional. She was right. And so, yeah. But sandals, I draw the line at sandals.
And I know that he used to have contests about who could have the biggest afro, but I see that your sister kind of gave him a run for his money on that one. So,
yeah, I never heard about that contest, but my sister.
I think he mentioned it in the book that he started writing. There was like some type of scenario, and I can't remember where.
No, that was Southside. That was him and Dwayne and Paul Mitchell and those guys. They had a whole another thing going on. That was a different world over there. I would wind up over there sometimes in a car that may or may not have belonged to me. But yeah, that's another world. Yeah, but I spent a nice little chunk of time over there. They had a fun thing going on over there.
So tell me the story about Charles Cousin and Friends.
Yeah, well, Charles, let's see. Charles Cousin and Friends. Charles just would make up names, and Charles wanted, he was the oldest in our band. He was a couple of years older than me and Prince. And so we made him, by virtue of vote, which I'm sure I didn't vote it. I was like, but everybody else, I guess, said he's the oldest, he should be the leader. So, so he would always go in and, and when we'd sign up for whatever we were going to do, he'd sign our name. And he signed us up as Charles Cousin and Friends. And when we would win a, battle of the bands or something, and they'd say, and the winner is Charles Cousin and Friends. And I'm like, excuse me? Oh, so now I'm just a friend, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I was the one who put most of this band together, because if you look at it, realistically, my sister obviously is, and then, Prince is Prince, but, Morris, I brought him in the band. William, I brought him in the band. Terry, I brought him. So Charles Cousin and Friends. So that's the reason why that lineup, who's not in there?
Mm-hmm. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So,
gosh,
that's messed up.
It was. It was like, we went all this time. We thought of a band name. We came up with it, and he just decided, well, you know what? Maybe it should be Charles Cousin and Friends. Sly and the Family Stone, Charles Cousin and Friends. Yeah. No. Let's talk about it. And then give me an opportunity to say, no, that's not going to work. I don't think that's going to fly, brother. How about Andre, you, and the rest of us? That's a good name. How about that? Yeah.
And the others.
Yeah, Andre and the others.
Andre and them.
Yeah, there you go. No, Andre, Prince and them, because that's how it, Prince, Andre and them. And sometimes it's Prince and them, and but I don't know. All I know is, I take music very serious, always have. I was a musician before I met Prince, you know, and, you know, the interesting thing that I find, you know, I don't want to deviate too much, but I think, you know, I was talking to somebody the other day. I was my wife and I spent a little time in New York because we sent our son off to college. So he's up there, you know, getting that education. But I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about. They had asked me about, you know, me from, you know, my perspective and what's going on in the music, you know, landscape, especially the Minneapolis music landscape. And they said, you know, they're asking, you know, well, how come you're not as whatever as this person or that person, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And they said, it doesn't seem to faze you that you're sort of kind of under the radar of all of that. I said, I don't know about all of that. I said, all I know is I'm an artist. And a lot of times as an artist, you get misunderstood. I mean, I know with my record label, very often I was misunderstood because they knew I could do all kinds of other stuff. And they would always want me to do this sort of mainstream, what everybody else was doing. And that's like antithetical to art. I mean, I like to think of myself, you know, because I actually do paint, you know, but I like to think of myself as an artist, you know, and musically painting pictures with music and lyrics and, you know, and vocal interpretations, all that kind of stuff is art. You know, so, and because I love all sorts of music, rock, funk, you know, folk, you know, you name it, you know, jazz, you know, classical, I love it all. And so I do it all. But very often it gets, you know, and I think, you know, so I think some people have to understand in the Minneapolis music thing, some people are entertainers. I don't know. Maybe they consider themselves artists. I don't know. Art is creating something from nothing, you know, and doing it from your perspective. You creating it, you writing it, you coming up with the lyrics, and that's my artistic perspective. Others are producers, and they produce people, and they do an unbelievable job, you know. And others are, you know, musicians, amazing musicians. But artists, you know, that's one of the things me and Prince used to talk about. We used to talk about art and what it meant to be an artist, because we had our favorite artists and we would categorize them. You know, it was, no, that's not an artist. We would argue about who we thought was artist and who was real. And the one thing we you know, would agree on is Joni Mitchell. You know, Joni Mitchell and Stevie Wonder. I mean, those are two of my favorite artists. Definitely his. I mean, I know Joni's one of his. And, you know, I mean, it's just Curtis Mayfield, but there's just some people, you know, some musicians, they're artists because they, you know, and nothing against anybody else's art, you know, but just where we're at right now in music, you know, we've gotten so far, we've lost the plot, you know, of what it means to be an artist, because the people that, you know, perpetuate these little handful of musical outlets, they basically kind of make you conform to their brand of whatever artistic expression they feel like they're going to allow the people to have access to. And I mean, you know, I guess it's algorithms, and, you know, it's unbelievable that for such passionate, fervent music lovers, they would allow this to be their reality, because there's so much music out there. There's so many artists out there that, you know, would love to be able to just give people, you know, a cornucopia of choices. And, you know, and I mean, music, and maybe that's part of it, because music, you know, if you think about, you know, real artists like Bob Dylan or Bob Marley or the Beatles, they are powerful. You know, their words, David Bowie, their words, you know, David Bowie probably had a big impact on changing MTV's format, you know, because he had the nerve and the you know, the balls to speak out that, hey, you know, but you're not playing black artists on MTV though. You know, why aren't you doing that? You know, and it takes people like that to step up, you know, outside of their comfort zone and say, you know what, I'm not, you know, yeah, but, you know, I'm secure in my, you know, talent, and bring on the competition, you know, bring on other forms of musical expression. I love it. You know, David Bowie and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, they always gave credit to
Right.
Little Richard and a lot of the you know, blues players. They gave credit to them and they brought them up, and they, you know, some of them they had on tour with them and exposed people all around the world to music that people didn't know about. And so now we have people that seem frightened of you know, choice, and they're frightened that somebody's going to say things and gain some sort of popularity or platform and be able to talk about things, and maybe have people actually think about, you know, the world, and maybe having a better world, maybe a different kind of world, maybe seeing world from a perspective that, you know, isn't, you know, sort of, you know, funneled through one little fiber of a thought wave. You know, I mean, you know, whether it's, I don't know, Zuckerberg or whoever, or Elon Musk or whatever. I mean, you know, it's like it just seems almost petty and silly, because
we're in a different times. We're definitely in a different era now, where something that you say can immediately get bashed within minutes.
Yeah.
You know, back in the 60s, you know, anything predating the 90s back, where, you know, pre-internet, you pretty much, there was not, you could say something and it would be, you know, if people had any type of problem with anything that you said, you may not even hear about it, or unless some release jaunt or something picked it up. But now, the second that you say something, you got somebody else that will feel some sort of way and can immediately blow you up. And, you know, with the cancel culture, immediately blow you up on Twitter or Facebook, wherever. It's a nightmare. And so I think that's one of the reasons why there's a lot of apprehension from artists now to just, you know, they want to kind of keep their heads down and kind of focus on their art instead of, you know, speaking up, because sometimes when they speak up, you know, careers get ended that way.
But I feel there's more than that even. And that's actually where it comes from. It is about technology, because like you said, there's the artist, there's the producer, there are different categories. However, because of technology, now this is a good thing and it's a bad thing, because it's a duality that you just can't get past. But because of technology, people are forgetting that these are completely different hats. You cannot be an artist and try to do business. You have to put on the business hat to do business, because as an artist, you're coming from the heart, from a different place. As a business person, you're coming from the brain, a different place. So as a musician, it's the same thing, and, you know, in all these categories. So with technology now, so many artists, musicians, producers are blurring all those things together because they have access to all of it. So they're not really honing this one thing because that's all they have. They're messing with all of it. There are some people that are so talented and gifted that they can do all of them. They can put on each hat and it's still like, bam, wow. And some, it's a little muddied. You know, and that's what's happening if you look at funk music. Now, if you really look at it, we've got an age difference, because the real the separation is at a certain age, like Mr. Christopher said, from the 90s. And, you know, there's a little difference here. Before tech became the main thing, you had that clear separation. You had that clear delineation of this guy's talented here, this guy's talented there. After the certain age of technology kicking in, now you got people that, oh, I do it all. But all isn't necessarily great for everyone.
Yeah, everybody's, you know, it means different things to different people. You know, I mean, because everybody, you know, can try to do it all, but they don't really pull it all off. But, you know, I mean, I think you're right though with technology, because, you know, technology it's amazing. On one hand, it's just it's beautiful.
Right.
And the possibilities are really amazing for what it could be, if people just allowed people to just, you know, to be able to express themselves without filtering and without all the different sort of, I guess, sort of, you know, control, you know, because I mean, you know, I don't know. I've always had a vision of the world being, you know, really beautiful and just open to, you know, interpret. I mean, I guess I grew up in that world, you know, because, you know, I loved Santana. I loved, you know, Sly and the Family Stone. I loved War. I loved, you know, Rare Earth. I loved, it goes on to Earth, Wind and Fire. And then you start to go to all these different bands, that we used to play, Jeff Beck. There's just so much music that you could just take in, and and you could be inspired by it. And it's not that it doesn't exist, but it's really kind of, it's just gotten into this algorithm thing where it's like they only feed you a certain kind of diet of steady whatever everybody else is listening to, and then you're going down this rabbit hole.
There are some amazing artists out there that are just getting overlooked because there's so much garbage in there at the same time, and funk itself, like we started off with, it doesn't get its due because there's a lot of junk out there at the same time that there's amazing funk artists, and so we're missing them.
Well, that's why that's why I'm doing this album that I'm doing right now is because I really think, and I've gone back to, the stuff that I used to do back when I lived at my mom's house, and, because I used to, create so much stuff back then, we were, me and Prince and I used to, create and create and create and create and create and create. I have tapes and, all kinds of stuff from back when we were creating stuff back then. But I've gone back to what I used to do back then, because obviously you get into this, you get into so many other things. I've produced different artists, and, I went down that rabbit hole for a minute because I know with myself, because my record company gave me such a hard time. I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to produce. And so I did Jody's record, and it wound up doing really, really quite well.
Really?
I did. Yeah.
Let me say, I had as I was kind of prepping, a lot of the personal stuff that happened back in those days, I had no idea. I did not know this. I just be clear too. You were married to Jody Watley at one point in time, and you have a child together.
Yeah, son. He's
he's
in his 30s.
No friggin' idea. I totally missed that. I was like going through, and I was like,
okay. And I'm no longer a fan of yours now because of it.
Oh, well, I'm going to go on ahead and lose that sleep now.
I should have gotten. I literally have a big section of Jody Watley music up here, and funny enough, it's all from that album. That album.
Hey, she's an amazing artist. Yeah.
Every single 12-inch single, it was like pow, 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 pow. I was just like, wow, that's pretty amazing. But
we had a great run. She was, we had a lot of fun. Just making those records, we had a lot of fun. And she, she won Grammy Award for Best Artist. She won a bunch of other awards, and she did quite well. And I'm super proud and happy that I was able to be a part of her whole thing and helping her kind of break out of the shadow of the Shalimar, and but she was great in that too, and I thought she was a little underrated in that group because her voice is like it's the sound of that era, and it's very distinctive, and I always appreciated it. Yeah, it was fun.
It's kind of
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's like there's some artists, some singers like Michael McDonald, like the second you hear him,
I almost worked with him for the Beverly Hills Cop 2 soundtrack because I had written a song for that I'd already had a song on there for Pebbles. It was her first, that was her foray into the music scene. I did it on that record, but when I was at the meeting and they were talking about they needed the theme song for the end theme, and I said, "What kind of thing you need?" They said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Just what do you need? I can kind of make any kind of music. What do you, They said, "Well, we need something like this." And I said, "Okay, well, I live up the street. Let me go. I'll come up with something. Come back." And they kind of thought I was joking. I was like, so I went, because I was staying at the Oakwood Apartments, had my stuff set up, and came up with a few ideas, and came back, that same day and said, "What about this?" They said, "That's it." They said, "How did you?" I said, this is what I do, you know? And so it wound up, and so they said, well, so who do you hear singing it? Are you going to sing? I said, no, I'd, rather get somebody. They said, okay, well, who do you think? And I thought, well, I love Michael McDonald's voice, because he, at the time his voice was, yeah. So, but he wanted to, redo the lyrics, and they didn't want to change anything. So they said, who else? I said, well, I like James Ingram. They said, okay, well,
way, right?
Yeah. And so they I had to talk to Quincy Jones, because and Quincy gave it his thumbs up. So yeah, that was history. Yeah.
That's that, because it was so. I love going in some of these deep dives. Whenever we have guests on, like last week we had Dawn Silva on from Parliament and Brides of Funkenstein and all that, and you kind of dig and you find all these little tidbits, and it's like, wow. Like, I had no idea that you produced Pretty Poison's "Catch Me I'm Falling." Is that true?
No, I didn't do that song. Yeah, no, I wish. Yeah,
this is what I'm talking.
But I did
that friggin' Discogs website.
Yeah, no. I did do. I might have done an album or some songs. We definitely worked on it, but I don't think I did that song. I'd have to double check.
Yeah, it's got you listed as the producer on this one.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. Yeah. So,
I
know we did a bunch of stuff, because I got to tell you, man, there was a point where I was doing so much stuff, and that was around the time I was doing the Tina Turner track. I was working with Gardner Cole. I was working with Gardner Cole did some Madonna stuff, and Mick Murphy from The System. Yeah. We were doing a bunch of stuff. I was doing. I was doing Adam Ant's album. I was just doing a lot of stuff. And plus at the time I was trying to do my own. I was trying to come back with another solo thing, because I had signed to MCA, and I was trying to do another solo thing, which I had done. And it was actually, kind of all this new jack hip hop, and it wound up, I never wound up releasing it, because I went through this A&R craziness. Because MCA was going through a lot of changes, and so I had this A&R guy that said, you need to do this, and then another A&R guy said, you need to do that. And again, as an artist, it's like, and I would always say, nobody's going to put a mustache on my Mona Lisa. And so, so I'm in some ways probably my biggest enemy, or whatever, however that expression goes. But I'm like, you know what? I didn't get into music. Music got into me. I'm not a musician for money or for chicks or whatever. I'm in it for the art. I love to make music. I mean, if I just made it for myself, I'd be happy. I mean, because I play piano, I play classical music. I just do a lot of stuff, and I love it. I just sit there and, and if people want to hear it, then I want people to hear it. And if they love it, that's great. So anyway.
Well, going back in your, let's go back, because I want to get to like a list of questions and stuff that, have been asked by various people that have been texting me once they found out you were going to come on the show. And not just the person that texted today, but I had other people. But I'm curious, who has control of the Rebels project? Like, where does this sit? Who has the capability to be able to release this officially in some form or fashion?
That's a really good question. I assume whoever is doing whatever you want to call what they're doing with his estate.
I didn't really fell underneath the estate's purview, because it kind of preceded them.
Yeah.
in a way. I mean, he was part of the project, but so were you. So I mean, it was a Warner Brothers kind of thing, if I remember correctly. But it, honestly, it was kind of it was a Warner Brothers kind of thing, and it was we were off the road, and it was something because I think he might have thought everybody's going to fly the coop, and so to keep everybody sort of around and able to continue to contribute to what he was trying to do. He said, "Hey, let's do this project," and we wound up doing it in Colorado. Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, part of the problem was that the first single they wanted to be the single that I wrote. It's a song called "Thrill You or Kill You," And then, obviously everybody's like, that's the hit. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, well, we don't want, because if that comes out as a hit, then it's going to be Andre gets his hit record out. And what are we going to do about that? So next thing you know, no more Rebels.
Andre and Friends.
Andre and Friends.
There we go again. And then, but yeah, no, it's, I love the project. Just so you know, I mean, one of these days, I've always been threatening to write a book or do something or come out with something that can help people understand sort of how a lot of that stuff flows. Because I have a lot of photos from that period. Because it was so much. We had a blast. I mean, I don't know if you guys understand, but Dez, that's a funny dude. Matt, hilarious dude. I mean, they would keep us in stitches. And, the combination between those two, and then you throw Prince in there, obviously that's a done deal. It's a wrap, because those guys are like, that should have been a sitcom right there. I mean, really, just for me, coming from my little background, watching those guys and their dynamic is just, and it was, this precedes the whole, Prince had to, I guess, gained a reputation of being some taskmaster or whatever. And, he would find everybody and all this other kind of stuff that, I hear about. This was before all of that. This was when it was new for all of us, and we were all excited. And for the most part, I think I was probably the musical director, because I was always rehearsing the band and, and getting everything, and so by the time he got there, everybody was ready to do whatever. And, this is my band member from way back before any of this was even possible. So, it was super fun. It was just, we were literally living the dream that we used to talk about when we were kids growing up and looking at albums and reading album covers and all that kind of stuff. And there we were,
And for some of those newbies that are here, I don't use, that's not a defamative remark. That's not even a word. But the Rebels was a project that was pretty early on, and that happened back in 1979. But it had Des Dickerson, Andre Cymone, Gail Chapman, Matt Fink, Bobby Z, and Prince in this project. It was pretty freaking amazing. And it's unreleased. You can find tracks out there in various forms. You can go to YouTube and search for it. There are tracks that happen to be out there in the ether. But I think a lot of, the hardcore fans obviously are very familiar with it. And it's just, I know that a lot of people wanted to ask about it because it's kind of unusual, because the songs are really, really strong. Obviously they need production and whatever, because it wasn't really, finished up or mastered or whatever it was, but it was definitely a great, great project there. Yeah. And some projects that I'm really happy that you worked on that had been kind of sitting in the hole and that eventually got released was like the Mighty Soulmates. That to me was like, dude, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's another fun. We had so much fun doing that, man.
Yeah, we actually amazing.
It's amazing how busy, how active you guys were at that time between different bands and different groups. The Rebels, Grand Central, changing the name, Champagne? Grand Central became Champagne. Just so much history of band after band after band. No shortcuts, It's just a lot of hard work.
Yeah, a lot of hard work. A lot of people, don't realize it. They think it's all easy and simple, and we're just rock stars. Just show up, and it's like, no. It's like, it's not. It's a whole different thing, because you're spending hours. That's when I started drinking coffee, because I was like, coffee's for moms, man. Moms drink coffee. And then I found out moms don't drink coffee, dads drink coffee too. I had a whole I was a little bit weird, but I mean, now I cook two cups a day religiously, but I think the Soulmates, well, not the Soulmates, the Rebels project is when I first started drinking coffee. Yeah.
Wow.
That was my introduction to coffee, because we were up late, and the engineer was like, we were starting to fade, and they said, well, you guys maybe you should have some. I think they probably wanted to offer us something else, but we were like young, and they didn't know whether we would, we weren't in the drug scene at all. So it's like,
right.
they probably want to go, maybe you guys should have just some coffee. So yeah. And so I said, I'll try it, but whatever. Hey, so okay, what's next? Let's try another track. Let's set 6 more tracks just like that. Oh, let's overdub 6 guitar parts, and then the drums they're not fat enough. We need another kick. Yeah, give me more of that stuff, that cocoa stuff that you got. Yeah. So anyway,
all right, let me ask you, black, right?
Oh no. What did he say? He came and he said, what did he said, he had it. He told the person making it, make it the color of my forearm, something like that. And I didn't even know what he was talking about.
Right,
like,
sugar, yeah.
And I was like, okay, is that cool? That must be some cool thing. Let me write that down. Make it the color of my forearm. And then I looked at his forearm. I kept looking at his forearm. I was like, I want to drink something that's the color of his forearm. I guess I do. Okay. Oh, can you make it the color of his forearm? So that became.
But do you drink black now?
No.
You still do?
Sugar.
Do it? Oh man! See, I was trying to be a fan again, dude.
Well, black, because all these are all my teeth, and I want to keep them. And if the next thing you know, they're just different colors, and then you gotta get the strips, and I don't want to do all of that. It's work, man. I got enough work to do. Mow the lawn, trim the trees, and and then you got to do the white strips.
It's all about the teeth, man.
I want to keep the teeth intact. I want to bite all the steaks and burgers I can. Anyway.
All right, let's get to this list of questions that people wanted me to ask. Just questions and rumors, and we'll just start here. We're not going to go in any type of chronological order, but there's a person that wanted to know when Paisley Park was first built, when you were invited by Prince to Paisley Park, and whether or not you guys got together in a recording studio and did any type of recordings or whatnot that may be sitting there in the vault. Obviously, there probably is. But can you tell me about the first time that you walked into Paisley Park after your invite, assuming that you got an invite? You didn't just show up at the door.
No. You don't know me if you think that would ever be possible. Here's the thing. When I would come in town, my mother, again, and my mother she was on the board of directors of KMOJ, which is the only Black radio station in Minnesota at the time. When I would come in town, I would try to swoop in under the radar because, I had a few girlfriends here and there, and maybe more than I should have, and maybe my share and a couple other people's share and all of that. So I was always trying to be under the radar, but my mom wouldn't allow under the radar to happen. So she would go, Andre's in town, and so it would be on the radio. It's like, oh God, great. So the phone would start ringing, and so and one of the phones ringing was Prince. Man, I heard you're in town. Yeah, I'm in town. You got to come check out my studio. And I didn't know really anything about it because obviously when I left, I was off and doing my own thing. So I was like, yeah, I'm here. I got really nothing else going on tonight. I'll come down and check it out. So I go down and he's showing me around, and it was unbelievable. I'm like, I was blown away. I was like, I had no idea. And I was like, because the last studio we had together, which was, I think, what is it? I forget the name of the street, but we were staying in a house together. We built a little 16-track studio. So, and I was mostly the engineer because I was always our tech guy. So, back in the day, I was recording all our demos and all that kind of stuff. And so, to see him come from, us doing cassette to cassette to the little 16-track to this, it was like, wow. And, it was designed by the guy who had designed my studio. And I had a little small, it wasn't like Paisley Park or anything. It was just a small studio that I had built in a loft downtown Los Angeles. But Dave Hampton. But yeah, I was blown away, and Prince showed me around. We played a little basketball real quick, and I busted that three. And he's like, run it back. I was like, you know how it works. I bust a three, and then I don't run it back because then I leave that taste in your mouth. And but yeah, it was great. He was telling me about a lot of things that were going on in his life at the time. Introduced me to some of the people that were around. Showed me some, nooks and crannies that he had. We didn't get into recording. He just showed me the soundstage and all the different stuff that.
Well, wait a minute. Time out. Nooks and crannies. Is there little hidden little things that he showed you that most people wouldn't even recognize or look for? Tell me about what these nooks and crannies is.
There was a couple of places, and he wanted to know if I wanted to go. There was some, he was explaining some place that he had that was up in the rafters somewhere, if I wanted to go up there away from the crowd. And I probably should have said, I guess in retrospect, if I had it to do again, I would have said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things that in retrospect I would just do completely different, because I always thought he would be, I don't want to get emotional because sometimes I think about it, it really does. It bothers me. Yeah, I just know he was trying to, just show me love, and show me things that, how much it meant to him that he was able to achieve these things. And it was really sweet. It was really special. And, but I'm a very humble person. I'm like, I'm with the people. I'm like, I don't want to go in some VIP thing. I'm down here with the people. The people are why we're even, we even exist. So my thing is, I don't want to, I'm sure it's nice. I'm sure I can look down at them and go, hey, they look at that guy and look at that girl and, oh, she's fine, have so-and-so. That's just not my thing, So, but in retrospect, I wish I'd have been like, hey, show me whatever you want to show me. I mean, there's a lot of things that he did show me anyway that were meant a lot to him, and personal things that, I think are really, really sweet. He's, for all of the things that, one could say about Prince, from that standpoint, there's a lot of just love that we had, because we were basically, a lot of people say he's my brother. He was really basically my brother. I had older brothers, and I was the youngest. And so when he came to live with us, it was, we were a force to be reckoned with, and I had his back, he had my back, and we were family. So.
Wow. And so no recording took place with you and Prince in Paisley Park?
No, I don't think I ever recorded anything in Paisley Park ever.
Really?
You've never, no.
In the studio.
No, but there's a lot of my material in the vault, but not from recording at Paisley Park. No. He offered the use of. We were working on a documentary in 2003, I believe. He offered us the editing facility, but we opted not to do that.
Why? I mean, he's trying, he's opening up this amazing top of the art facility. What was the reasoning that you kind of felt like, I just don't want to record there. I don't even want. There had to be something that.
Were you just in chill mode? Like it was just like.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I mean, here's the thing. I recorded a lot of music in our other studio that I never got back. Okay. So I'm not going to go there and do a documentary and somehow, I don't know what happened. No. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm an idiot. So
get a haircut.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're not cutting my hair. I'm not cutting my hair for this. Was it the banana in the tailpipe? I'm not falling for that. Yeah, no, not me. You got me once. Yeah, and you got me the one time because I was your buddy, your friend. Anyway.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Understood. Yeah. Because that makes complete and total sense, because I think about all the stuff, just like you mentioned, that you wrote that literally sits in that vault, and it's wrapped up now. It's all wrapped up in a state and everything. And that was actually a very, very smart decision to not kind of get involved in that, because you have control pretty much over most of your stuff, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, I have pretty much control. I mean, I have stuff that I have copies of, so it's not like, so I have receipts. I have proof for anything that I ever say. I don't need to ever claim anything about anything. I mean, not only do I have the receipts of the songs, but I also could write those songs backwards and forwards if I really thought that it was necessary. But it's not even that. I mean, Prince is a musical genius, and he's got his own way of doing things and his own style. And, if you really understand the difference between Prince and I, we're very different. When we started, our band together, obviously he didn't play bass. I did. My dad was a bass player. He didn't have a bass. He didn't play bass. I didn't have a guitar. I didn't play guitar. So I think we learned from each other, and it's no mystery. It's not like, it's like, it all makes sense if you really, think about it from a really intelligent perspective. If you listen to, when I was around, the bass patterns that were going on, you can kind of understand, perhaps, might have had a lot to do with Andre. Some of my guitar riffs, if you listen, might have a lot to do with Prince. It's not like rocket science. We were best friends. We were in a band together way before any of us, got on the world stage. So, it is what it is, and I always respected it. I mean, and I give credit where credit is due. And why not? I mean, really, it's like, it's not going to hurt anything that I ever do. And I can't imagine that it really could hurt anybody to just give people credit, when they help you grow, and
well, anyone who doesn't get that, the fact is, regardless of the influence of the superstars or whatever at the time that you looked at, when you're great musicians and you're all playing together, you're always going to influence each other anyways.
Yeah.
So you're going to pull from each other. It's inevitable. You're getting a choice. So
I mean, Morris and my cousin, Ted was on drums, but I mean, because Morris was left-handed, so I would, get on his drums and play left-handed. But Morris was really into Tower of Power, and Baby Garibaldi, and I mean, until Morris got in the band, I wasn't really, a big Tower of Power fan. But Squid Cakes, woo! That did it. That was, and Morris had that down to a that and Soul Vaccination. I mean, he would whip the mess out of that. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
Wow. So since we're talking about songwriting, and let's just, because I've watched quite a bit of interviews with you, kind of dance around the story of Do Me Baby. And I know that I kind of want to get to kind of the full story of that song and kind of what happened as far as your involvement in the writing of that song, how it kind of shook out, because I kind of gleaned from one interview that I had heard that it was that song was actually being recorded or designed or being created for somebody else, is kind of what I gleaned from the interview. Now, if you don't want to answer this question, it's perfectly cool. It's perfectly fine. But I'd like to kind of get to the bottom of Do Me Baby, because I feel like there's conflicting stories, and I'd much rather get it from the source than read it or somewhere else.
Well, first of all, I don't dance around stuff. I just say stuff. And that's all right. No, it's all good. I mean, but the reality is, here's the thing. I used to love to write songs for girls. It's like, it's kind of one of those things that opens the door and then the doors swing wide open, and
it's a rite of passage.
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth, brother. And so that song was originally written for my girlfriend at the time. And I recorded it and I gave her a copy of it. So she has a copy of it. It exists. And here's the thing. I mean, the music was pretty much what the music is. And Ooh, What You Do was one of the main lines in there. And so it was, but here's how it. So that's how it originally happened. So when I originally recorded it, and Peppy Willie, his I think his uncle is in Little Anthony and Imperials.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for some music for them. This guy named Tony Sylvester was producing it, and so they were looking for songs. And Peppy said, you guys got any songs? They'll fly you guys out, and you guys can do some songs with for Little Anthony Imperials. We're like, cool. And so Prince came up with "Feel for You." I came up with "Do Me Baby." We had a couple other songs that they, I guess, wasn't feeling. So we went there, and they wound up not doing either one of those two songs. But we wound up creating some other stuff that they did where it was this really house, disco type stuff because he was, that was the kind of thing that that he was into. So, so we wound up basically keeping those songs, and they wound up kind of falling in the ether of all the different songs that we had written. But here's the thing with "Do Me Baby" is and this is me giving Prince more or less a pass, because what a lot of people don't understand is when you're as close as we were, and this is really close, because at that time, and he had a record deal, but we were still broke. So we got actually stranded trying to do some of this stuff. So so we would have to share cassettes. So I'd have to say, listen, man, you got any room on any cassettes? Because I don't I don't have a blank cassette. And so whatever, I would drop ideas and he'd drop ideas on different cassettes and whatever. And so so it's highly possible that I put that idea down or something, and but if not for the fact that obviously Peppy knows, that's why it's been such a thing, because Peppy has said it. Andre did that for that because that's what it was done for originally. And
Right.
And then the girlfriend, she was like when she heard it, she's like, that's that song you wrote for me. And so, but I didn't, this is my friend. I didn't make a big deal out of it. That was between he and I. And it's like, and the crazy thing is, somewhere along the line, he must have decided that, well, Andre does deserve. So I started getting royalties for the song, and I didn't ask for it. I wouldn't, Wow. And then after he passed and the estate took over, I stopped getting royalties for the song. So yeah, I don't, yeah.
When did you start getting royalties for it?
Did you say when?
Yeah, when?
I think around 2014. Very late, mind you, but yeah.
Wow. There was this period of time with Prince, and I think there's a lot of conspiracy theorists that talk about his passing and whatnot, and he was actually going through the process of really kind of connecting with artists that he felt like he had wronged in the past, and really just started making amends with a lot of different things, making amends with the time, having them come and perform and giving them the money that they deserved, doing performances. He handed over the rights to Milk and Honey to Tamar, giving credit, putting credits in various places that weren't there previously and kind of showing up, like all these little drippings of kind of making amends that I found very, very, it's just unusual that was happening, but I'm glad that it happened for you, because deservedly so. I mean, if you actually in that process of, your involvement in writing is just, I mean, you deserved it. I mean, but I also know that you had made mention in a previous interview that controversy was kind of like that breaking point for you, kind of in a way, as far as walking away or stepping away from Prince. And I know that "Do Me Baby" was on that album. And is that correlate at all, or as far as why you kind of felt like you just kind of needed to go your separate ways, and it was just the vibe just changed between you two, as artist wise or creatively? What was the walk away point for you? That's a lot. My apologies.
That's a mouthful.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, short answer, yeah. I mean, because it was a wake up call for me, because it wasn't even me that even made it an issue. because I would have, I didn't even, to be honest with you, when you're really close with somebody like that, you don't think about it like that. You don't think about your friend ripping you off or anything like this. It's the furthest thing from my mind.
Right.
But it just so happened that it was something that I came up with the day before he came back with the version that wound up being controversy, and the other band members said, "That's Andre's song, not me." And Prince got pissed and said some unfortunate words that I'll but that's when I realized, wow,
right,
who is that person? And I don't ever want to see him again. So I quit. And that was it. Yeah. And because it's like, I didn't ask to be in his band and didn't necessarily want to be in his band. But because he was my best friend. And at the time, there's a whole, a story that people just do not know about how all of that stuff actually happened. But it's not what people think. It's just, and so he literally was like, "Man, you got to do this, man. You got to come with me." And we wound up going and doing his record in San Francisco and the next album and the third album. And but I'm not trying to take credit. I don't want credit for anything. He's a musical genius. He did it all, blah, 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 blah. But all I know is, I was just disappointed because this was my friend. We started off together, for the most part, technically, yes, his dad got a guitar, but technically for the guitar that he used, and you can look at the photo, I got him his first guitar. So, so all of that to come to that was just disappointing for me, and so anyway, I just, but, we had gone and buried the hatchet and, really, I mean, that was water under the bridge. And I can understand, he was coming into his own, he was trying to, discover his voice as a solo artist. And trying to break away from, the past and, invent who he ultimately became, and, probably the best thing that happened to him, in my opinion, was for me to allow him to be able to do that without having somebody around that knew him before that, I think that's probably a beautiful thing because he could become whoever he wanted to become,
Right.
That's true.
Sounds like we need that book, is what it sounds like.
Right? And it's funny because you used the phrase "threaten to write." I think you said, right?
Say that? Oh yeah. No, I think obviously it's going to be done. Definitely. I mean, I'd actually started writing a book back in 2003 when we started doing the documentary, because the documentary that we had done, my wife had started it. And, we interviewed everybody, Morris, all the original Grand Central Band members. And, we got everybody's stories and their things and their take and their perspectives way before Prince passed away. So now that they're inventing history, we've got them on tape telling the real story. So, I'm just putting it out there for y'all who think that we don't have that footage. We do, of you saying a whole different thing. So, but the one thing I just want to say, I kind of want to go back a little bit just to the celebration of my mother's thing, because I think, I really appreciate you guys, because you guys also did a thing about the AC album, which I really appreciated. You gave me some love on that.
And let me apologize right out the gate. I'm going to apologize right out the gate because I actually was going to bring this up. I don't want to derail you here, but the anniversary of AC came up and I got this off of Prince Vault. I didn't just make this shit up off the top of my head.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Prince reportedly gave the song to Andre Cymone after Cymone was talking, specifically, and it says Cymone himself was too proud to do so. Andre Cymone recorded. So I was like, that's where I got that statement from.
Yeah, well, yeah, my mom, first of all, wouldn't do that. That's number one. I'm too proud to do what? It's like, he asked me if I wanted to do the song. He said he had a song that he thought would be great for me because he knows that, obviously I'm
talking about Dance Electric. Yeah.
Yeah, Dance Electric, because he knows I'm into the, kind of political aspect of things. And obviously I did, I was a little apprehensive about wanting to get into all of that. But
anyways, let's talk about
but it was really more, my label than me. That was like, and really, and I would say Prince's dad, and I think the original gesture that I thought Prince had, that I thought that's what I eventually wound up doing it, because I thought, what, he's trying to, reach out, be, friends and all that kind of stuff, and all the things that had happened between us with songs. And I think that was his way, because he's different. He's a unique individual. So he had a different way of going back, of trying to sort of make amends, nothing against that, and that's it. There was no, my mom, there was no, I told him, and I was disappointed when, the whole, I told her, come get this hit. I wasn't in the music business trying to write, because if I did, obviously I wrote Jody's, that was a hit.
Right.
It's like best new artist. I mean, Dance Electric didn't do that. So it's not like, so my thing is, I'm an artist. I like to make music. I'm not, I can write hits. I know how to write hits. That's not the point. The point is, we're friends. You're my friend. I trust you. You trust me. I got your back. You got my back. I'm never gonna, and I take that stuff very seriously. So, but anyway, so that's all. And then I was gonna say, and then, just wanted to talk a little bit again about my mother's event, because I know that I'd be remiss in my duties if I didn't sort of kind of bring it back there, because that's really where it all starts. And I gotta say, the community that we came from, that Prince and I and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and all of us, really, Flight Time, Sonny, Joe, Ted, all those guys. I mean, Daryl Boudreaux. I mean, there's a whole community, a musical community. Paul Peterson, Sean LaBelle. I could go on and on. I mean, with all the different musicians and artists that are there. Sounds of Blackness, Gary Hines, Jelly Bean. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's such an amazing, beautiful community that's there, and so. I just want to make sure that, if you want to get a little slice of what it was like back in those days, you should show up, and if you want to support, if you can't make it there, you can check out Bernadette. I think that she's got my niece, they have a Bernadette Anderson Way on Instagram.
Now tell me a little,
follow.
Tell me a little bit about this road that's being renamed in her honor. Is this the road that you guys used to? Because we're in Atlanta. I'm familiar with Minneapolis, but not some of the
that's there's so many stories of that. We're going to be, holding this event on the street where we used to play. Football right in the street. Prince took a nasty spill once, literally skinned off half his elbow right on that same boulevard. I mean, William, came round in the corner in his car that didn't belong to him and ran into a telephone pole. I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, so it means so much. It's such a part of, the legacy of all of this, really. And that's why I've come back to it, because it's really important. We're going to be doing t-shirts, because what we want to do is people who are really, if you really want to help us honor my mother and her spirit. We're going to be doing T-shirts and all that kind of stuff that are going to allow this to be an annual thing if we can make it work. Because I just think she deserves that. I mean, because she really, it's hard to really explain how much of a force she was, with me, but really more so with Prince. I mean, she knew she kind of had me, and I was, but she had to look after him, because he was going through what he was going through, so I mean, and she was the strength, she was the powerhouse, and she made us, stick to what we were trying to do, and it worked out, because I never thought I was going to get past 21. I certainly didn't think, all the things we used to talk about doing when we were kids, it's her spirit, really kind of helped us realize we can do this, and she would say, y'all can do anything you want. Y'all can do, she was definitely that voice. And so, I just wanted to come back to that because it's really
absolutely. Yeah.
It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna hold you for about 10 more minutes because I just have a couple more things I want to kind of get out of the way and before I cut you loose. Because the first thing is obviously I'm all this love that you guys are getting here. I got to make sure that I kind of put all this up here while we're here, and we're gonna close with this. We're gonna come back to this one more time. April Watson, I wanted to say hello.
Hello, April.
And also Damon D is in the house. Damon.
Yep. What's up?
He's actually in well.
That's a bad brother right there.
Yeah.
A real brother. Yeah.
Real. Ernest Hudson Jr. said, "Love your music. I love Kelly's eyes." Yeah. Obviously, Julie, you're in here. He said, cool to hear you, Andre. We got that too. Awesome. Wesley says, "Looking fresh." Let's see what else is in here. There's like a bunch of in here, man.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I got.
Let's see. Yvonne, thank you for attending the Prince event in Brooklyn in 2017.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
And there's just so many here. Oh, Lawrence Law's in the house.
Law's in the house, brother. Yeah, I played him a little spot of the early resurrection over at the lodge room. He was outside there. I gave him put some headphones.
Okay.
In. Check this out, man.
Yeah, he had a couple. We talk about Dre the musician, but we don't talk about Dre the producer, songwriter, and he also followed up with #fact. Andre's in my top 10 of the bass players who influenced my style the most.
Thank you.
But man, it's like lots of love.
Wait till you hear this funk album, you're gonna be like, "Ooh, he done went off now." Because
if I were in the chat and I were one of the chatting right now like that, I would have said, and I'm gonna say it now, just before we move on to it. As much as you sprinkled and handled and started and created, "Do Me Baby" is hands down the greatest slow song of all time, as far as I'm concerned. It is the greatest, period. Care what anybody else says. "Do Me Baby" is number one of all.
Yeah, well, okay, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, it's hard for me. I have a hard time taking credit. I know most people just take credit and go, "Thank you," But, I mean, I think we're all inspired by a lot of those who came before us, and I'm certainly inspired by, Bootsy, by Larry Graham, by Rusty Allen. A lot of Rusty Allen's underrated. I think that brother on the bass, played with Sly. He's just, there's a lot of bass players, believe it or not, I used to play a lot of the Stanley Clark's type stuff before.
Oh, yeah.
Return to Forever was like a thing. And once he came out, because I was like, I was doing that. That was my stuff back then. Then he came out and I was like, oh, well, he's taking that now. So there's no need to do that anymore. But yeah, no, because I thought that was my lane for a minute. But no, but there's a lot of amazing music out, amazing artists out that, really, I love to give respect to, and pay homage, and because we stand on the shoulders of these people, and they deserve credit. It's easy for us to go on and act like, and so many people do. I just am not one of those people. I just think, hey, I'm only as good as, the Stevie Wonders or the Donny Hathaways or,
Right.
You know, other artists that came before me, because they inspired me and they showed me the way. They showed me you can do this, you know. And that's part of this funk album that I'm working on, is I'm paying homage to, you know, George Clinton, Funkadelic, you know, Sly and all of that, because, you know, they really influenced us, you know, definitely me, you know, and people keep telling me, you should stop saying us. You don't give yourself enough credit. You always say us, you know, because I always looked at us as a band, but I realized nobody else ever did that, you know. So it's just me looking at us like that. So, but I'm still I got to be me. So, you know, I just think of, you know, they inspired us as a band, and you know, obviously I was a bass player, and you know, part of the helping put a lot of the members in perspective. But so they influenced us, and you know, I in turn said, hey, we should do these songs, we should do this song, we should do it this way, we should do this arrangement, whatever. But it's been a blast, and it's gonna keep being a blast, and I look forward to people coming and checking out this album. Check it out at andrecymone.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, we actually got a clip. We're gonna play a clip here. Go ahead.
Boom at the bottom.
Bam, shibao.
There you go. All right.
All right, we got some quick hit questions, and then I'm gonna do some real quick questions. Some from the audience, some from one from me, and then I'm gonna talk about the album real quick, and then we'll close with the Bernadette thing. Cool. So here is the thing. This album right here. This is a great album, by the way.
Thank you. I call that 103.
I still haven't sent in the record rater.
Well, you might be too little late.
Probably
I had a temperature of 103 when we shot that. Yeah.
I do have a question. Well, and obviously you fixed that in the insert, because I need you to answer this question.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh, I mean, just some chest exercises, a sit up or two would have helped. What was
Are
that?
Those real nipples or photoshopped?
This is a questionable question. That's a great. I tried not to look that hard, but I just understand that every time I look at it, I always think, you know, I mean, push-ups, sit-ups, some chest pulls, you know. Anyway, you know what? You know, the reality is, you know, all kidding aside, I had just come from Cancun, and I bought that swimsuit. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't have very many friends then, obviously, to say, no, Dre, no, that's a bad idea. I didn't run it through ballistics. So y'all can laugh. Go ahead. I'm giving you my blessing. Laugh your ass off, because I'm laughing my off too. But the glasses are nice. You got to give the glasses.
We have plenty of photos of Prince that we could, like the Batman tight shirt, roller skating on the basketball court.
I know, yeah. Nope, if I would have been there, I would have been, brother. Now come on, let's run that through ballistics. We need that pose. No. So those are those two pictures. They should be put in a museum together somewhere, and it should be in the vault, and the vault should be closed. They should lose the code,
stay in the vault.
Yeah, lose the combination of that vault after. Put those in there, and don't ever let them come out.
All right, Stone Freak wants to know, Andre, any hope for box sets of your albums with outtakes?
That would be great. Yeah. I'm working on some stuff like that. Yeah. All
right. Revolution 86. Does he still have that outfit he wore on American Bandstand? That sweater he had on was fly, and the brown leather jacket on that music was also dope.
Yeah, the brown leather jacket was dope, but it wasn't mine. It was actually the makeup artist's jacket. He said, you should try this. And I was like, this is dope. And I tried to talk him out of it, and he would not let me have it. So yeah. But I don't have, you know what? Yeah, I don't even want to go into unfortunate thing happened to some of my clothes. It's what happens when you get married and things don't quite work out. Some things don't make them. They don't, you know. Anyway, but yeah.
What bass strings do you use on the jazz bass?
Bright flats. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I like GHS bright flats are, you know, and if you want to really, you know, get that original sound from back in the day, bright flats, and they're flat. There's different versions of the flat wound, because it gives that kind of muted kind of sound, you know.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Do you have any Grand Central demos from people?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I have.
Really?
I think all of them. Yeah.
We gotta. Oh, I gotta hear those.
I mean,
Yeah.
no,
No, I mean,
we is
yeah.
good.
We're gonna have to figure it out at one of these at
Yeah.
some point, because there's demos that Anyway, I don't want to get too into too much detail about stuff, but yeah, there's demos, there's stuff. I mean, I've got recordings that we did. There's a couple of things that are pretty interesting that I think people get a kick out of hearing.
And that's under your control. That's not
yeah.
a thing.
No, yeah, nobody can. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are under my control. It's just, I think there's a time for it, and I think people can appreciate it. But I mean, just the interesting thing is for me, I just I try not to, I guess because I'm humble, I try not to get in the way of of other things, and I'm not trying to because I mean, unfortunately, when your best friend becomes a musical icon and all kinds of other stuff, people think somehow you're trying to ride a coattail or you're trying to capitalize on whatever. And I just don't ever want to be seen like that, because that's not who I am, and that would never be my thing. And so I'm not trying to do any of that. So when the time makes sense, and people really honestly want to hear that kind of stuff and it makes sense, I'm happy to give it to them. I think they would probably enjoy it, and probably enjoy some of the stories that go along with them, because
for sure.
Yeah, because we had a lot of fun. I think that has a lot to do with I think why people have responded to not just Prince, but myself and Morris and some of the other artists that came from Minneapolis, because it's all rooted in healthy musical competition and having fun. It's just we always, Prince and I always had a lot of fun, because we clowned each other, we clowned everybody, we made jokes out of everything, we made things fun along the way, and somewhere along the line it got it turned into business. But before it turned into business, it was super fun. So,
well, just know, no matter what move you make, there's always going to be a number of people that are going to put you in that category of trying to capitalize off of something. It doesn't matter. So knowing that, you do you. We're all here for you.
You're right. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Because that's one thing there's a couple of things I've learned, in this business, and that's one thing, is that what you just said, people are always going to say what they're going to say. They're going to, whether I say or whether I wait, whatever time I take to try to let the dust settle or whatever, it doesn't matter. That's one thing. And the other thing is, whether I like it or not, I'm part of Prince's history.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the other thing that I just have to just understand. I mean, I'm probably the only one that he was on Tavis Smiley said, my best friend Andre Cymone. It's because that's who we were, and and I appreciate that. I appreciated it when we didn't have any money, when we was eating that government cheese at my mom's house trying to see who could make the best burger,
Right.
and I appreciate it when he invited me to come and jump on a stage here and there and say, hey man, last time we got together and played, we did Dance Electric at the Sayers Club, and it was really a beautiful thing. He was like, man, you should come up and do Dance Electric. I said, man, I don't remember that. I don't know the lyrics to that song. He said, teleprompter, man. I said, what? I said, that's karaoke. If I have to be doing karaoke, he said, no, man, I do it all the time. So I was like, all right. So yeah, it was a blast. But yeah,
that's awesome.
And you wouldn't be you without that history, man.
All right.
So
here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about the street renaming one more time, and then I'm going to migrate into a segment that we call Soundstage, where we're going to talk about a bunch of bands with new funk music. But I want to keep you for the first minute of that, because the first track that we have is yours, Hot Funk in the Summertime. So,
awesome.
So first, let's do this, which is to remind everybody that on Friday, September 13th, not this Friday, but next Friday on the 1200 block of Russell Avenue North. They are going to be doing a big street renaming ceremony where they're going to be renaming the road Bernadette Anderson Way. There's going to be appearances from a laundry list of Minneapolis folks, a bunch of Purple folks and beyond, including the one and only Andre Cymone here. And they're going to be renaming this in honor of his mother, who is just her contributions to not only the community, but just the progress of that city and just the historical significance of that street is, goes without saying. I would love to come to this if I wasn't going to be in the middle of the ocean. Can't change that, but I can tell you this is going to be an event that's going to, have you guys figured out security and how you're going to work this? Because I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of people at this thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We're still figuring it out. We're trying to piece it together, but it's going to be a blast. We're going to have security. It's just, I just want people to bring love, and because it literally is a slice of what we used to do back in the day. This is how we used to do it. Man. My mom would be the one saying, "Okay, you guys are going to do this, and you're going to do that," and it was, there's a piece of video and some photographs that appeared somewhere recently of us doing one of my mom's things outside the YWCA, and it's a picture of, I don't know, is Prince playing the Vox and me with these goofy headphones on, and Morris is adjusting his drum kit. My sister's there, but it's an interesting photo, but it's one of those things that my mom used to do. So this is kind of a slice from that whole reality, and it's where it all comes from.
Is there a time in this event? I see the date, but I don't know there's any time.
3. It starts at 3:00, and we're going to try to end it probably around 7. Before it gets dark, really, because but yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah, and there's people talking about some of the different things my mom used to do, some of the different things we used to do. There's going to be some photos. There's going to be a photo gallery of some photos that people probably haven't seen, and but it's from my mother's perspective, and it's it's in honor of her, and obviously we're all just under her wing. So yeah.
All right. So now let's move into you're wanting to get a bumper, don't you, Jeff? We normally do bumpers where if a guest comes on, because we have a 24/7 funk radio station that is ASCAP licensed, and so whenever we play one of your songs, we have a guest. We'll say, "Hey, this is Andre Cymone. You're listening to Funkatopia," and we'll place that bumper before anytime we play your music. If you want to do one of those, that'd be great, and then we'll do Soundstage real quick. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Andre Cymone. You're listening to Funkatopia. Is that too fast? You want me to slow it down?
Yeah, just slow it down. That's fine. We'll use it.
Funkatopia.
Hey, this is Andre Cymone, and you're listening to Funkatopia. This is Andre Cymone, and you're listening to Funkatopia, y'all. Check it out.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Now, let's do Soundstage. For those who don't know what Soundstage is, because we only got him for a couple more minutes. Actually, we're already over, but that's fine. He's been gracious with his times. But
thank you too. Appreciate that.
But we want to talk about this brand new album that is coming, and from what I understand, it is going to be called The Resurrection of Funk. This is not the album cover. This is actually the single cover for Hot Funk in the Summertime.
Right.
But so tell people about this album, when it's coming, and what people can expect on this album. And then we're going to play a 1-minute clip from Hot Funk in the Summertime, but just kind of let people know what's the vision about the release date of this.
Well, we're putting some of the pieces together as far as a team, because the record's done. So we're putting some of the pieces with people that are going to help us really get it out. Because I just wanted to get out to as many outlets as possible. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to, your new slow jam is going to go from being Do Me Baby to Velvet Jones. I'm just telling you that now, giving you a heads up. That's going to be your new slow jam, because you're going to be like, oh, snap. Oh, he didn't. Yes, he did. So, but yeah, no, it's just, it's, if you love funk music, if you know anything about funk, if you really want to get hip to funk, real funk, this is going to be the album. There's nothing like this you're going to hear anytime soon. I don't think, I could be wrong, and I'm playing everything, every single thing. So, yeah, it's just, I had a chance to really go back to the where it all began in my little mind and create what I think would be the funkiest. I was like, I want to make the funkiest funk album ever. So I'm borrowing, I'm breathing, I'm standing on the shoulders of everybody. And, and part 2 will be Sexy Resurrection. That'll be the next. There's going to be a part 2. And then there's I got a Stevie Resurrection. That's kind of a funk Stevie kind of. I go into the whole world of, Intervisions. I've already cut most of it, but it's like a whole nother. But that's down the road. We're gonna do this first, and so we got if people come along with this journey, we're gonna have fun because that's what it's all about.
Oh my gosh! Let's take a listen to Hot Funk. Just a clip of this one. It's a 1-minute clip. Enjoy this. You guys want a little bit of a taste? Here you go.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, baby, bring the bass up a little bit. I like what I see. I like how you roll. I wonder if I can get with your flow. Girl, you and me, we're like peaches and cream. A body like yours is truly a dream. Everyone's here, everybody's a star. They know they're hot and they know they are. Hot fun in the summertime. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Hot in the summertime. Hot fun,
That's just how fucking. I couldn't up the bass, I guess, because it doesn't let you do it on the clips. But man, I cannot wait to hear this thing. Oh my god,
yeah, it's funky.
You gonna give it some? Are you doing this on vinyl?
Oh yeah, you know it. You know it's going. Oh yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So there you guys have it. There's still, I think, we don't know necessarily specifically what the date is, but obviously you can follow andrecymone.bandcamp.com. Go ahead and head there and follow. And the minute that that's released, you will get an alert from Bandcamp that will let you know exactly when it's coming, where it's coming, and all that. But man, it's going to be great. There's actually not only that track, but there's another track that's up there too. What's the name of that second
Funk
track?
is Alive.
Funk is Alive. That's right.
Yeah.
Funk is Alive. So there's 2 tracks right now. Now, are both of those on the album, or I think
Right now? But yeah, I mean, right now they're going to be on the album. But I got to stop. Everybody keeps telling, stop writing stuff. The album's done. But I can't. Once you get, the thing is, when you get in the state of the mind of a funk state of mind, it's like you just, it feeds on itself.
Yeah.
So, but you got to stop at some point. So there's going to be a Resurrection Part 1, Resurrection Part 2, Sexy Resurrection, which is probably just going to be all ballads. And then I'm going to get into that Intervision Resurrection. So, yeah.
You're going to have a stanky resurrection, stanky funk?
You want? Well, it's going to be pretty stanky.
I mean,
I can call it Stanky Resurrection.
Stanky Resurrection.
I kind of like that. Has a little swing to it.
That's right.
Stanky Resurrection. I just mix the bass up a little bit more.
Intrigued about the Velvet Jones here. I got that.
Yeah, Velvet Jones. Inside Velvet Jones. Yeah.
No. Go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
There's a tiger to be tamed. Yeah. I think you're gonna like it. Yeah. They said I asked everybody, they said, should I put a ballad on this? And everybody said, yes, you should put a ballad. So inside, Velvet Jones is going to be the ballad. There's a couple other ballads, but yeah. So it's going to be fun.
I'm gonna check it out. I can't wait, man. Because I mean, if it's at that level, like you said, it's gonna replace Do Me, baby.
It's definitely gonna replace Do Me.
I'm all for it.
Gonna be like, oh, you're gonna be like, Do Me who?
Do Me who?
What about Velvet Jones though?
Velvet Jones. Do Me Velvet Jones.
Do Me Velvet Jones. You can do me Velvet Jones. Okay, let me stop.
All right.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh man,
gentlemen, the one, the only man himself, Andre Cymone. Let's give it up.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Christopher. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate y'all having me on. I really do.
It's been an honor. We will be looking for that album again. Go to andrecymone.bandcamp.com and get your pre-orders in for this thing. You can download those couple of singles that are up there as well. Thank you and also don't forget, not this Friday, but next Friday the 13th, yes. Going to be able to do that street renaming down there on that. It's going to be just follow, and you're going to get all the information that you need to get.
It's going to be fun.
Thank you so much for hanging out, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you so
much for having me. Yes, definitely. Y'all have a blessed one. All right, take care.
Take care.
All right.
All right, that was Andre Cymone, y'all. And obviously, man, I mean, he's a legend. He's a legend. I mean, and you don't say like legend, like just Minneapolis legend. I mean, he was like the foundation of he's part of the foundation of the Minneapolis sound. And
like,
I mean,
really is like, that's it. Boom.
I mean, and of course, he has all his legendary albums. I know we were kind of, we kind of got into a lot of stories, but one of the things I wanted to talk about at some point, and maybe we'll get him back on, but I wanted to talk about friggin' all of these albums. I wanted to talk about,
I know,
just kind of getting a little bit of, just all this stuff.
There's a lot. There's a lot. He's been a busy dude. I mean, doing it.
EP 1969, a lot of stuff, and of course, got this brand new album that's coming out. So awesome, man! I'm just I'm excited about it. But as I told you, so again, please go to andrecymone.bandcamp.com and make sure that you follow Andre and get that new album and just take care of everything. All right, so as I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show, we are off the air until September 24th. So there's going to be 2 Tuesdays that are going to happen here that we're not going to be here. So I wanted to double up on this show and not only get a great interview with the one and only Andre Cymone, who we were going to do an hour and we ended up doing an hour and 45. All good. That's typically how this works on this show. But I also wanted to do episode 2 of Soundstage. Yes, this is only the second one we've done. We did the first one like a long time ago.
2 years ago, and it was in May or something like that in 22.
And we pre-recorded it. But I decided that we need to do like Soundstage at least like the first Tuesday of every month or something. We need to figure
I agree.
A cadence, because there is a lot of funk music out there that you guys need to hear. And of course, we already started the Soundstage with that first track from Andre Cymone from the Resurrection of Funk that is going to be coming soon. I think there was some discussion back and forth between him and I about the timing of it. They're shooting for the end of October or in October somewhere. So that, I assume that's what it is. But to credit too, I also saw that there was an interview that was done on The Current a couple of years ago talking about this album, and he said it's coming. So hopefully he's saying now, which is totally different than what he said then, that this album is now complete. So we're going to get this year, because hopefully we'll be able to put this on the best funk albums of 2024. So
that's
we got
right.
All right. So we talked about this. That was the first one for Soundstage, Andre Cymone's Resurrection of Funk album that is going to be available soon. andrecymone.bandcamp.com. Now let's talk about the second one, Judith Hill.
Judithhill.com.
Now, I don't see, here is one of the problems with the way that music is disseminated now, especially in the age of Spotify and everything else, and the fact that funk music is just simply just not marketed the way that it needs to be marketed. And there are so many artists that drop albums and you don't even know that they've
Right.
you don't know that they've been out. And it's like, what just happened?
Right.
So Judith Hill has released an album called Letters from a Black Widow. And it was released back in April of 2024. So it's already been out now for months. And first off, let me just say, I feel some sort of way regarding that she felt like she was kind of persuaded or assuaded, whatever the correct word is, to name this album Letters from a Black Widow, because of the fact that media and press decided that because of the fact that she was one of the primary singers and was going to be touring with Michael Jackson on the This Is It tour. Matter of fact, if you watch the This Is It documentary, Judith is all over it.
Right.
And Michael Jackson died from an overdose. And of course, then Prince was on, she was singing, working with Prince, and she was actively working with him, and she was on the plane when Prince overdosed. And then of course he also passed. And so the media and press took it upon themselves to label her as a Black Widow.
Right.
Really kind of disappointed in that, because I think it's very, really, really hurtful.
It's hurtful. It's extremely hurtful.
And especially for somebody who is as talented and just, I mean, multifaceted talented. Like, I knew she had an amazing voice because that was the first time I saw her was on The Voice.
And not only a wonderful talent is she, but if you've ever watched her, she doesn't carry herself like a problem child, or like anyone who's going to cause havoc or create this kind of problem with people. So she carries herself well, at least when she's doing her thing. She's an amazing talent. She kills the stage when she performs, and you still drag them down. You still do these things to people.
Well, and here's the thing. Let me see if I can pull this up, but here's one of the problems from a Black Widow lyrics, because I'm not playing this track. There's another track that I'm playing
right
on this album, but on the album, on the track Letters from a Black Widow, the song actually breaks. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up. The song actually breaks and stops and says Black Widow killed MJ and Prince. Like, literally, she has that in her song. And that's obviously like a commentary from what the media and press is saying about her. But literally, it says in the song, Black Widow killed MJ and Prince in the song, which I felt like, I feel like when people talk crap about you and just say certain negative things and say, make ridiculous, that you're just kind of like giving it energy.
Yeah, but she's an artist.
I get that. And I think that she's just kind of just like, okay, let's just, she's not one of those people that's just going to just kind of keep dodging it. And I think that's what's really, really great. But
yeah, I feel.
Go ahead.
No, please. Go ahead.
All that being said, I feel like this album, if you have not heard this album, it is fantastic. It is so good.
It really is.
And so you need to pick this up. At least go and take a listen to it. Again, the clip I'm going to play is a track called My Whole Life Is in the Wrong Key. And of course, this is Funkatopia, so I wanted to play you some funk tracks. And there is a lot of funky stuff on this album, and she's just unbelievable. And on top of that, she's touring with this as well. But let's listen to 41 seconds of My Whole Life Is in the Wrong Key. Just check this out.
Walking with a hop like a nose surface in cartoons. Clearing my throat, let my lips pucker as the world spins round and round. Checking my pulse, cause the big ticket
signs of losing my mind. My whole life is in the wrong key.
That is a clip from Letters from a Black Widow. That song is called My Whole Life is in the Wrong Key. That is just, it is, come on now. The whole album is fantastic. I mean, just the song structures is just, it's just incredible. So
going back to making them ugly stank faces.
Yeah.
That's one of them that you just get ugly.
Oh my.
If you're already ugly, you get prettier. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm glad we're bringing Soundstage back because I feel like there's so many great tracks that are out there that you just never get to listen to. It's just, or they just bypass you. So head out, grab Judith Hill, Letters from a Black Widow. You can get it on Spotify, listen on Spotify and whatever. Or preferably the way to do this is go to judithhill.com, check out the album, check out the tracks, and of course, go see her on tour. Are you going on Thursday? Yes or no? Or are you still deciding? Isn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Judith Hill's tour. We're talking about right now.
Duh, I know. We've been talked about it enough times. Yeah, unfortunately, I will not be able to attend.
Okay. Yeah. I was invited. Well, you invited me to go to that if I was going to go, but of course we're leaving on Friday morning. And I was just like, this is just not going to be possible. And I was also invited to the Leonard Skinner ZZ Top show. And I was just like, I can't go to that either.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, let's get back into here. Soundstage. All right. Next track on Soundstage is Nikki Costa and her Dirty Disco album. I don't know. Okay. First off, Nikki Costa has been doing this since the 80s, in case you didn't know. She's been around for a minute. Now, obviously, she was doing stuff as a younger kid. She was working with I can't remember the name of the project she was in, but she's been doing all kinds of stuff, and she's been she's shared a stage with Britney Spears and Lenny Kravitz, and of course, Prince fans also know her pretty well because if you guys remember the live at the Aladdin in Las Vegas DVD with Prince, she actually was on stage performing the song Push and Pull with him as well. And she has this brand new album called Dirty Disco, and that album came out in August. So literally it just dropped August 16th. So it hasn't even been out a month yet. So definitely you guys need to check this out. And let me just say, out of all of the artists that we're going to be highlighting today, we got 7 of them, I think. This album is funk from top to bottom. So
it's old school funk sounding too.
And it's old school.
Very old school funk, like 80s. And I mean, it's right, disco, it's funk. If you hear this, you're going to want to put on your skates and groove around a rink. You know what I mean? Like it's
right. Yeah, that's right. Van Hunt. That's right. She also played with Van Hunt. There was a song on the Jungle Floor album. I'm trying to remember the name of that album, the name of that song. But yeah, the Van Hunt, which I happen to be wearing. I'm representing my brother from another mother. Van Hunt. But yeah, Mean Sleep. Thank you so much, K Private. But anyways, yeah, she's been all over the place. And this, I'm going to play a snippet from her album. It's called Unsubscribed. Check this out. Nikki Costa's song Unsubscribed from Dirty Disco. Check this out.
Clicking the flow left and right, up and down, rewind. Get back to the heart of it and unsubscribe.
There's a little clip there from Nika Costa, Unsubscribe, from her Dirty Disco album. And as I said, it is old school funk from the first song until the last song. It is just great. Now,
It is.
I also need to make sure that I tell people, because of the fact that we're playing copyrighted music here and clips, there could be the possibility that Facebook or YouTube, one of the two, may or may not kick you guys off. I don't know. If so, just be ready to kind of go to one of the other locations, youtube.com/Funkatopia. You might be able to just stay put. I think sometimes they just take away your ability to comment or whatever. I think that's
historically YouTube has been the one to hit people the most, and most people switch over. I'm sorry, Facebook is the one that's been the bigger problem. People switch over to YouTube, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully nothing, but if it does, you know what to do now.
You can also go to x.com/Funkatopia, because we're on Twitter and we actually do live feed directly to Twitter. So, and of course, if you are a Patreon subscriber, when the new app comes out, you'll be able to listen on the app and you won't get booted off at all.
Won't matter. So there.
So, but that was, again, Unsubscribe from Nika Costa from the Dirty Disco album. Just go to nikacosta.com. And of course, you can listen to her on Spotify as well. So there's that. All right. The next band is kind of interesting. I had not heard of them. And rightfully so. It's a band called Electro Deluxe. You can find more information about them at electrodeluxe.com, but they have an album called Next that came out in February of this year. Very Tower of Power-esque, but they are from overseas. They're a French band. We actually have a great French band called Sissy Street that's just unbelievable, that we promote quite a bit and has been on both of the been on two best funk album lists on Funkatopia. And this is one of these bands that's just like, wow, these are really good. But they've had a lot of success overseas. They are selling out tours all over there. But obviously, once you come over here to the United States, it's totally different, because it's
a different animal.
They don't care about funk over here. French people are going nuts over them. But what's interesting is that even though they're a French band, they still perform entirely in English. And again, they've been selling out venues and playing in Europe since 2001. And so this is a track, a clip that is called, what's the name of this track?
Ain't No Stoppin'.
Ain't No Stoppin'. Let's take a listen to this. This is electro funk. Here it is.
I'll keep on climbing, step by step. When I reach the mountaintop, the journey I won't forget. Everybody say, ain't no stopping, ain't no stopping me, ain't no stopping, ain't no stopping me, ain't no stopping, ain't no stopping me, ain't no stopping, ain't no stopping me now. I've been down, but I won't stand. Ain't no stopping me now. Gotta get back up and show you how much I care. Ain't no stopping me now. I got the fire burning inside my soul. Ain't no stopping me now.
Anyways, that's a little track called Ain't No Stoppin'. That's from Electro Deluxe. I saw you laughing and bobbing your head like crazy in the back.
Because I hear this song and I picture it being like an opening track to like the PJs or something. And I see in my head, I see a dude with a feather cap high stepping as he's walking, and that just I'm playing in the background, man. I can't get it out of my head. When I hear it, that's the first thing I see in my mind.
Yeah, it's a great bit. And what's interesting, again, they're a French band, but I guess they also speak very fluent English, and so they just perform all their songs in English. I mean, they don't want to they just kind of just screw it.
That's
This
how
is
you hear it.
if they were French, that would be my expectation. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
So that's Electro Deluxe. You can get more information on them at electrodeluxe.com. That's ELECTRO deluxe.com. Yeah, so that's a really pretty cool. Now, This next band is another band that we've talked about before, but not by this name. The band is called The Rumble, and it features Chief Joseph Bordeaux Jr., and the name of the album is called Stories from the Battlefield. And for those who may be familiar, New Orleans has quite a bit of different factions that happen in the funk realm. Obviously, you have the New Orleans funk that happens, but there's also this really neat genre that is kind of based, that's kind of been established by the tribes there, some of the Indian tribes there. And this specific one, Chief Joseph Bordeaux Jr., is from the Golden Eagles Indian tribe. And so what they do is very, very similar to kind of the approach that Jamiroquai took, where it's just kind of, they focus on, politics and civil rights, and that, that's
they're
their
making
focus.
statements. Yeah.
So the Rumble kind of continues that legacy of the Mardi Gras Indian funk, which was kind of pioneered in part by Chief Joseph Bordeaux Jr.'s father, Big Chief Monk Boudreaux, who was with a band called Wild Magnolias, if you're familiar with them. But they used to be called, there was a band called Chawa, which we did on the Best Funk of 2023, I think, or maybe
I think it was
20, or maybe it was 2022. But it was a band called Chawa, and they were unbelievable. They were so friggin' good. But this is a brand, I guess the band kind of has a bunch of different members now that have kind of reformed under this new band called The Rumble. And they just released a brand new album called Stories from the Battlefield. And literally it came out like a week ago, like August 23rd. So it's literally has just dropped. And this is a track that I actually have. This is one of the longer tracks that I have. I got 1:20 of this. It's a song called Up Until the Morning, just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what this sounds like. Check this out. This is The Rumble.
When the morning comes, say nobody nearly you better not run. I said whole gang get together running round and round. Say jump, hoop and holler till the sun go down. That boy got trapped in the hole, the spot got stuck. Tell the gang we drank fire water from a silver cup. My rhymes don't shine like the morning sun. I say my queen got a hatchet and I got the gun. Now come on, give it to me.
I mean, come on. That's Up Until the Morning. That's a track from their album Stories from the Battlefield that literally just came out a week ago.
I like it. I like those lines, man. I love horn lines when they're done really smooth. Those are nice lines.
Just poof. That's just ridiculous. And of course, you can hear the meters all through that.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely got that New Orleans sound, but it's the way that they kind of go about it, the way they always dress in Indian garb, and it's just like straight out. Well, Chief does, but it is, yeah, great band. All right, we only got two more for you before we cut you loose. And this next to last one is St. Vincent. Now, this woman's been a force to be reckoned with since day one, anyways. And I out of the gate, I was like, let me find out more information. So I kind of went to the Google, and I said stvincent.com, and it unfortunately was a domain squatter that's sitting on the domain name. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So anyways, her website is at ilovestvincent.com, Now, St. Vincent is one of these artists that just releases albums at like this nonstop clip. It's like, pow, 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 pow. It's like, and great. That's awesome because if you're a fan of her, you're a fan of her music, which I am,
You're getting fed.
it's just like, come on.
Yes.
You just bring it, bring it. And anyways, she had a new album that I was not aware that she had a new album out called All Born Screaming. When this is the album cover for it, that was released in April. So it hasn't been out that long, but it's in, and she's actually on tour now and it actually ends September 20th. So it will end, what's that? The Friday, I guess that's 3 Fridays from now in St. Paul, Minnesota. But you know, a lot of people didn't even know who she was until she did her own version of Funky Town that was on the Minions Rise of Gru soundtrack. But she's been able to make these quick hits on the radio, and she's been doing a lot of collaborations with a lot of big artists. And again, this is her brand new album called All Born Screaming. And this particular clip that I'm going to share with you is a song called Big Time Nothing. So let's listen to a clip of You Will Be Clapping of Big Time Nothing from St. Vincent's brand new album. Check this out.
Don't blink, don't wait, don't walk your lead, don't fall from grace, behave, don't trip, sashay. Okay, sashay. Don't kid, don't blame, don't snap, insane, don't laugh, don't act your age, don't change your name. It's all the rage. Do ask but don't tell, don't laugh but do smile, don't have a glass, don't stay a while, don't take a pic. Don't feel so sick. Big time nothing. I can decide, I can decide, I can decide. I can decide, I can decide, I can decide. One, two, 1, 2.
That was
I feel like it should be DJ scratching that whole thing, man. You should be like, just
it just, here's the thing. It's like if Apollonia 6's album had been if Prince had released it, I think it would sound something very, very similar to, because that really gave me Apollonia 6. This guy gave me Vanity 6 vibes, that was just kind of like the makeup song.
Yeah.
It really gave me those vibes, but it's like this updated.
I can see that.
Oh
I can see that. Very funky, man. Like very, just like I said, that feels like that club, that just grooving thing, man. Dance like no one's watching, man. That's
and also, so we're clear, these tracks that I'm playing for you will be uploaded to the Funked Up app, so that if you listen to the 24/7 Funk radio station Funked Up app, these will be in rotation. And of course, again, it's ASCAP license, so we'll take care of all the artists. All right, we got one more artist for you for Soundstage episode 2. You are going to well, we were in France there for a second, so
it's
I had to
deux.
Oh, it's what's trois then? What's that?
Trois. It's
Yeah, but it's 3. All right. See,
deux. Three's coming, don't worry.
all right.
Already.
Wait, let's move on to the next and final artist before I get myself in trouble and get canceled really quick. It's Lenny Kravitz, because we haven't done a soundstage. We only done one soundstage before, and the fact that Lenny Kravitz is not on here, I mean, it seemed like an obvious entry. He released his album Blue Electric Light in May of 2024, and of course, we had that incredible lead-off single that he had, TK421. I was just like, man, I could just play that. I was like, people have heard that now. It's kind of been out there for a little bit. But there are a lot of other great tracks that are on here, which are really fantastic. Obviously, LennyKravitz.com is where you can find more information. And of course, Lenny is yet another performer from a Prince DVD. He was on Raven to the Year 2000. He came out to he came out to like this bass pop when he was walking through the stage, walking through the audience, and then I think they did American Woman out of the gate, and then what was the other song he did? They did. I just did a couple of tracks. Yeah, but it was right until the year 2000 is when he made his appearance, and of course he's done tons of work on with Prince, uncredited. Like a lot of people don't know that Lenny Kravitz sang on the song Dolphins.
Right.
Dolphin. A lot of people didn't know that he did background vocals on that song, and it was uncredited. And apparently, there are quite a few tracks that he did. So, anyways, that all being said, brand new album, Blue Electric Light, released May 2024, and the clip I'm going to play you is called "It's Just Another Fine Day in This Universe," which is actually the opening track of this album, but it's so friggin' good. Let's take a listen to that track right now.
I don't know, but I know that you are there in limbo. I call your name, just listen. You're the one I'm missing. It's just another fine day in this universe. I can't count the ways that this really hurts. It's just another fine day in this universe of love.
That's another fine day in this universe, and that's up his brand new album, Blue Electric Light. Yes, I will agree. Some other people are, another people are talking about the song "Human" and "Paralyzed." Yes, those are both great tracks. And "Paralyzed." The reason why I didn't play that track was because it was more rock than anything else, and it also wasn't written by him. It was the only track that I saw wise that he didn't write, I think, or. Which is, it doesn't make a difference. It's still on his album, but anyway, I mean, but I play the crap out of "Let Love Rule." Like "Let Love Rule," his debut album, it's still in rotation on my CD player. I listen to it all the time. I mean, it's just one of my favorite.
According to Spotify, Lenny is my highest rotation of all music I listen to. Lenny and Prince, so I definitely get it. And just for clarification, it's just another fine day in this universe of love. The "of love" is actually in the title. Just in case anybody gets offended because we didn't say it.
Okay, there you go. I just thought I thought I saw it on Spotify. It just said it didn't have "of love" in it.
Yeah,
it's all good.
But it's a great song.
Oh yeah, and I see some other people that are talking about new tracks that are out. I mean, Lisa says that off topic, Stevie Wonder has a new song out. I need to check that out. Now, to be clear, I just saw, here's another artist that I just saw. Gary Clark Jr. has a brand new album out called JPEG Raw. And on that is a duet with Stevie Wonder. Is that the song you're talking about, Lisa? If not, I haven't heard any other song that he did, but he just did a duet with Stevie Wonder on that album. And he also does a duet with George Clinton called Funk With You, but it's not really incredibly funky. It's a good song. It is funk, but it's not what you would expect with Gary Clark and George Clinton being in the same room. It's like, oh, this is good.
You expect a little more funk.
It's just like, oh, clicky. It's like, oh, okay. Lisa said no, that's not the song. No. Joshua says Stevie's solo song is gold. I'm going to check it out. We'll do it for the next Soundstage. I mean,
because Soundstage is back, and we are going to be releasing more and doing more episodes. So
let's see.
Let's enjoy this.
Yeah, and I'm not averted to singles. I typically like to do stuff where there's an album to actually support it, because Spotify is so singles heavy. There's just artists out there that I love, like Jamie Lydell. and Anderson .Paak and those guys that just love to just drop singles, and there's not any albums to support it. But it's good because it's kind of a drip that you can kind of get, and it's good. I like that. But I'm adding Gary Clark Jr. because I want you guys to hear that now that I've mentioned it. We'll play it on the next Soundstage.
Well, yeah, we'll check it out and get it heard. I'm glad we got to do this and you guys got to hear it. Seven songs for this this second episode of Soundstage, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is good stuff, man. I like it.
Yeah,
We're gonna keep doing it.
And if you hear a funk song that you're like, oh, they need to talk about this on Soundstage, please send it to us at funkatopia@gmail.com. That's funkatopia@gmail.com. There's an A in there. Funkatopia@gmail. Just tell me, hey, check this out, and we'll do that.
Yeah, why not?
Man, what a night.
Just give us time though. Don't expect that we're ignoring you. It's just it takes time to get through these records. You know?
Yeah, it does. But we had to start, every year we do, Funkatopia does the best funk albums of whatever the year was that just ended. And the problematic thing with that for me, obviously, was that I would list like the 20 best albums, and I had, not anywhere during the entirety of that year did I talk about that album.
Right.
So it's like 18 of the albums that are on that list I never mentioned, I never talked about, I never did a review of, none of that stuff. So it's
just like here you go.
I have to remedy that, and that's one of the things I'm trying to get better at. And obviously, with the volume of work that we do here at Funkatopia, it's just a lot it's a big undertaking. But I want to make sure that we become stop number one. If you're a funk band or you just want to get the music out there, because there's so many artists out there and so many there's a lot of websites out there that do it very, very well. And we're going to do it better. Well, I'm going to try. I can't be as committed as some of these guys are. Some of these guys are hardcore, but
you know what? We can only do what we can do, and we'll just keep doing that.
So if you forgot or you just tuned in, sorry, we're about to end the show. But we will not be back on the air again until Tuesday, the 24th. So you're going to have 2 Tuesdays that are going to come and go that we will not be here. So my deepest apologies for that, but I will be away. So my apologies. However, we wanted to do a big show tonight. And that's the reason why we welcome the one and only Andre Cymone on the show. There's a great interview. If you missed any of it, as soon as we're done, you can rewatch it on YouTube and Facebook and also on Twitter. And I will obviously upload it tomorrow so that you can listen to it on SoundCloud and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Odyssey and all those other places. And of course, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I really need to do a better job at prefacing that and saying it more than anything. Click on subscribe, click on follow, wherever you are. Just make sure that you know that when we're doing stuff. And of course, as Jeff has put that lovely scroll up, you can also support the radio station as well, because again, as I mentioned, we are ASCAP licensed. So you can do one-time donations at Venmo and also Cash App. Both of them are Funkatopia. So at Funkatopia at Venmo, $ Funkatopia on Cash App. But the best way is to become a member of Patreon at patreon.com/Funkatopia, patreon.com/Funkatopia. That's the best way to support us, because not only that, you're going to get a bunch of really great things that are going to be coming down the way. The biggest of which is going to be Uptown Radio Plus, which is going to add a third radio station to the mix, which is going to be a bunch of Prince deep cuts and stuff. Not only the Prince radio station, but really deep dive into that stuff. And you'll be able to listen to this show live as it's happening on that broadcast. And you'll be able to request songs. It's a whole thing. So there's a lot that's going to be going on. So you want to make sure that you become a Patreon supporter. Again, patreon.com/Funkatopia. Support. And we're getting close to the end of the year where I send out gifts to some of the top 3 supporters there. Not supporters, but supporting groups. And so it's great.
And in case you didn't hear it, in case it slipped by, Uptown Plus is only available to Patreon supporters. So I'm repeating that again. Uptown Plus is only available to Patreon supporters. So You other guys, you'll still get the other stations, but I'm telling you, you want this.
Yeah, you may have noticed that Uptown Radio that played 24/7 Prince previously, that you guys currently right now get now for free. Even if you support, you get it. All those deep tracks are gone.
Gone.
I don't know if you've noticed, but they're gone. Also,
guess where they are.
Yeah, guess where they're going to be. Well, it's already up, but we're finishing up the app. I think the app should probably be done. The app will probably be done before I get back. But it's going to Uptown Radio Plus. And on top of that, this is the most difficult part. So is Princemas and so is Princegiving. That will also only be on Uptown Radio Plus. So that is moving over to this other radio station, because the truth of the matter is we love having, giving you guys all this great material and whatnot. But, we've said it before and I'll say it many, many times.
This is a business.
Yeah. And we really want to thank our Patreon supporters in a bigger way. And this makes sense. You guys really deserve to have these things over everybody. So there it is.
Because without the Patreon supporters, there would not be the 2 free radio stations that you guys have right now. Because again, these radio stations are ASCAP licensed, which means that they log in, they get the list of songs, they see how many people listened, they do the math, and they take. And without them, these stations wouldn't exist. So I had to make sure that the Patreon supporters are well taken care of, and this is how we do it, by creating a 3rd radio station that's going to be some serious deep. So anyways, it's going to be great though. You guys still have 2 free radio stations. If you can't afford to do anything, you still got 2 great radio stations.
Yeah, and we still appreciate you guys too. We appreciate everybody, everyone who comes on the show. You guys who are in the chat constantly participating and talking, and all the views and shares and everything that's going on, and we love it all. So, hey, did you check what our numbers are on Facebook?
No.
I was just wondering. I just thought about it, and I was like, yeah, we haven't given you guys an update in a while. I know it's
over. There's over 67,000 followers on Facebook.
Yeah, we're so we're gonna keep moving.
Yeah, but I know that some people were saying, "What, those shows are really, really good publicity." Yes, they are good publicity for us. But what ends up happening is that hundreds of people swarm onto the radio station and they listen to those broadcasts, and they don't contribute, and they don't contribute at all. And I think the last time that we ran both Princemas and Princegiving, I think we had a total of 3 or 4 donations that to help offset the ASCAP licensing. Because again, remember, it's math. It's how long did it play, how many people were listening, and that math happens. And if you got all these new people that come and listen to it, but we can't offset those costs, then we go, it's
and believe me, we are mathing. We have no choice.
That's the reason why we're there. So anyways, Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Again, I hope you guys have a good break. Don't stress out over the next 2 Tuesdays being Funkatopia-less. We just kind of need to take a little bit of break, a little bit of a refresher. Maybe I'll come back with a tan and not be so washed out. I'm too white. Anyways, we will see you guys in a few weeks on the 24th. I'm sure we'll have a guest lined up by then. And if worst case scenario, maybe we'll do another Soundstage. We don't know. We just like one of those things, man. Anyways, hope you guys had a fun time. We definitely loved having Andre Cymone. Big thanks to Andre Cymone. And thank you guys for listening to the Soundstage. Again, if you have any requests that you want us to play on Soundstage, just let us know at funkatopia@gmail.com. Try to keep the releases to 2024 releases. We want to keep it in the current year. Hope you guys have a fantastic time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Mr. Christopher. This is Jeff Page. You're not going to do this now.
You waiting for it?
3 weeks that they're going to have to go without hearing it. It's going to be, it's a lot.
That's all right. I'm going to do it in your memory.
Okay, there you go. So and he actually has access to this platform. He could technically do a show while I'm gone, but
I might do a 1 hour front show. I'm just gonna start Funkatopia and just go the whole show. That's it.
I'm sure people will be happy. Good night, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys in a few weeks. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andre. Adios, amigos y amigas. WTF.